Hello and welcome to another episode of Rollin' 20s. We are the show that found out in the last issue of Batman, Bruce Wayne demanded Alfred show him his Batcave. We really hope he means a cave. I am Jeremy.
Steve. Jesse.
Elizabeth.
Remember, you can subscribe to this show and several others in the MSP library at missionstarpodcast.com. You can like us on Facebook, subscribe to us on iTunes and on Stitcher. Follow us on Twitter at the Rolling 20s. You can send us any fan mail, suggestions for the show, or hate mail at mspfreight@yahoo.com. The music you heard at the beginning of the show is by Machinae Supremacy. You can find most of their discography for free download at machinaesupremacy.com, as well as their latest couple of albums on amazon.com. The clip you heard was SAO Abridged Parody Episode 4. You can find more of their videos under the channel Something Witty Entertainment. I know everyone's noticed a new voice in the room. I mentioned during the last episode that somebody was offering to step in for a little bit while V was out, and so with us for the foreseeable future, we have Elise. Say hi.
Hi. Hi. I'm happy to be here.
Thank you. She's a mutual friend, and she's not as deep into role-playing games, but she's still deep into video gaming, and she's also stepping into the role of comic book newbie. So we're going to get a fresh perspective on everything we read and talk about, simply because sometimes you don't see things clearly when everyone is nose-deep in ink. So it feels like a good idea. And believe it or not, that joke before the show, I am not kidding. Bruce Wayne appeared in the mansion and demanded Bruce Wayne take him to his Batcave, and it's like, wow, dude. This is very Pulp Fiction all of a sudden. So obviously that was kind of the story of the week when it came to DC Comics. How are you all doing?
Can't complain.
I'm good. I'm caffeinated.
Well, I get two things of excitement. One, I got a couple of shirts I've waited almost 3 weeks to get.
Okay, did you knit them yourself?
That's the low point in my week. The high point of my week is my brother just had a baby.
Oh, your brother was pregnant?
Cool.
What did they put in the water? So, how did he have the baby? Was it a cesarean?
Was it a butt birth?
I don't know the details. All I know is he has a son now.
I want to make sure this is for real. I want to make sure he wasn't faking and just he just came out of the bathroom one day and said, I had a brown baby boy, and you just took it at face value.
Yeah, you might want to double check his story there.
Being that the guy was engaged last I heard, I'm pretty sure that's not what happened.
Like, it's an actual human child. Okay. Good to know.
All right, so this is a cart before the horse scenario. Got it.
Nailed it.
Not that I'm complaining, but, been there. Anything else deep happening lately?
No.
Because I have been busier than busy trying to get ready for ALA next weekend.
Oh my god, yeah. It's been crazy.
Yeah, it's amazing that a convention is like almost a week away, but here I am washing clothes, packing bags, and getting my stuff together already. The people I live with think I'm absolutely crazy getting ready this early, but I am the guy that if I have to wait till the last minute, there will be 8 different things left on the floor.
No, it's admirable that they're actually taking the time to get it out of the way so you can just, enjoy getting there and not be packing last minute. So, kudos.
Oh, I've bought everything but the food, and the only bag left to grab is my mobile recording equipment, so I'm looking forward to this.
It'll be good.
All right, so we don't have any reading this week. The conversation of the week is a conversation about fandom, and we're going to come up with a 10 commandments of fandom and cosplay for conventions. It's going to be a loose list, and it's going to be very opinionated, but strap in because this ought to be interesting. First bracket of news we have this week is actually Marvel media news. We talk about Marvel properties that end up on video screens and everywhere else but comic books. And first story is actually a Doctor Strange story. We know that Benedict Cumberbatch has been cast as Doctor Strange already. That's no secret. But they've actually cast his houseman Wong just this past week.
Okay.
Has anybody seen The Martian yet? I have not done that yet.
Oh my
No,
god,
Martian?
I saw it and it was really
I
good.
haven't.
I saw it and it was great. I highly recommend it. I actually bought the book right after seeing the movie because it was just, I cried like a baby. I don't usually cry in movies, but oh my god.
Okay, well, an actor, Benedict Wong, who was in The Martian, he's just been cast to play Wong.
Oh,
Wong is
cool.
Wong is supposed to be Wong is supposed to be a monk under Doctor Strange's tutelage in magic, and as partial payment for that tutelage, he does cleaning duties and he assists the Doctor around the house and everything. And it's kind of a manservant / student role. I'm really curious to see how this goes because the last time I saw Wong was when Doctor Strange just became a new Avenger. They were living in Avengers Mansion. Jarvis was not available, so he called in Wong to take care of Avengers Mansion, and Wong came in carrying this huge backpack carrying a whole bunch of magic and cooking utensils. And he was just muttering the entire way. He was complaining about his purpose not being to be a cook for a bunch of haphazard tights wearers. He tossed his stuff in the kitchen, and he turned around, looked at all the Avengers, including like Miss Marvel, Wolverine, The Thing, and Luke Cage, and yelled at them, "If anyone enters my kitchen and makes it dirty, I will burn this place to the ground."
Oh my god.
So
Nice.
really curious to see, is it Quiet Wong or is it Arsonist Wong that's coming?
Because there's a big difference there. There is a gap.
Quite a bit, let alone this is a Shaolin monk that knows magic, and he's threatening to throw fire. So I'd take him at his word.
Yeah.
Now, have you guys heard about the massive shakeup going on as far as the movie schedule in the last week?
No.
Yeah.
Oh, I heard a lot of things got moved around.
This story's going to come in multiple parts, so I will go over the part that's Marvel related for the time being. The untitled Spider-Man movie that Marvel's working on just got pushed up 3 weeks to July 7th, 2017. So whatever they're doing, they're so confident in it, they've moved up the schedule by several weeks.
Absolutely.
It is, and they've already hired the actor because the actor's appearing in Captain America: Civil War coming out in 5 months? Is that right?
Oh yeah, March, right? No, not March. May.
May. Captain America always comes out in May. Usually,
Yeah,
Avengers
so
movies
4
come out in
months.
July.
Almost
Holy
3.
I was not paying attention. I was so focused on Deadpool coming out next month.
Oh, Deadpool. Oh, I can get behind him. Read that Deadpool. Like, he's awesome. He's hilarious.
At least the movie schedule this year is kind of aggressive because we have almost in order Deadpool, Batman v Superman, Captain America: Civil War, the Suicide Squad, and Doctor Strange. That's all this year.
Wow, they're really going hard. I think. How many came out last year? 2, 3? I don't know.
4, I think.
4. Oh, okay. Okay.
I think it was 4. You know, you'll learn that about us because we've been doing this show so long. We've actually started seeing movies as a course of duty as well as entertainment, and we're starting to get a little bit overwrought here. But that's not the only way we're overwrought because Netflix is marching forward with a lot of stuff lately, including a rumor that just came out this past week that it is possible that The Punisher may be added to their roster of shows.
Nice.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Word is that John Bernthal, who's playing Frank Castle, a.k.a. The Punisher, in Daredevil Season 2, which comes out in 2 months here. Again, date's important. Yeah, I know. They were so impressed they were talking about a potential spin-off. The rumor for a while was that they were ditching Iron Fist in favor of The Punisher, to which Netflix went, wait, what are we doing?
Yeah.
But in regards to the rumors, Netflix Chief Content Officer Ted Sarandos threw in a little bit of caution. He said, quote, "Any character that's in there is on the table. It's always possible. All the characters in the universe could also spin out. Right now, these are produced at the scale of a major film, so there are long production times and long post times. In some cases, when we have character crossover, it makes it more difficult to manage production. It's not the goal to put out more than 1 or 2 a year," unquote. I mean, he threw some water on the rumor, but at the same time, did anybody notice he never actually said no?
Well,
yeah.
No. Yeah.
My understanding of that whole sentence is basically, yes, everything's completely free and open. We have no issues. It's just going to be 2 a year, people. So don't get too excited. It's going to be coming right now.
Like
his
cool, but they didn't actually give a solid response on that one.
Well, he did say it's possible. He didn't say that it was on the schedule or that it's a definitive yes as of right now, and they have a goal of 1 to 2. And right now, Netflix has revolving shows of Daredevil and Jessica Jones, as well as Luke Cage to debut probably late this year, early next. And then you have Iron Fist, which is in the process of casting. So adding another show right now is a little daunting. And Elise, in case you didn't know, the 4 I mentioned before, Jessica Jones, Daredevil, Iron Fist, and Luke Cage, are all supposed to cross over in a mini-series as soon as all of them have their first seasons out, called The Defenders.
Oh, okay. Did not know about that.
Yeah, so all this is happening before they can... all this is happening before they can even start working on Punisher as its own show.
Yeah, you talked to me about Jessica Jones, and you said it was pretty well received, but I had no idea they'd be doing something that big, I guess. You know what I mean?
Funny you mentioned Jessica Jones like that, because it was just announced this past Sunday that Jessica Jones has been greenlit for season 2.
Yay, okay, because I have been meaning to watch that one, so it's nice to hear that they're going to keep going with it. Awesome.
Well, there were some complaints online because Daredevil got season 2 almost a couple days after the show was released on Netflix, or the first season, I should say. Jessica Jones was released, and almost 2 months after it's out, they hadn't heard anything about another season. So some of the more angsty people were complaining, why isn't she getting another one? Why isn't she getting another one? And Netflix finally said yes. And I have a theory about that. Just a theory. Okay. Jessica Jones as a TV show is so far off the scale when it comes to superhero. And by that, I mean there's nothing about this that screams superhero. I think it's one of those things that's kind of outside. It's not one of those things where you can just create another villain and have her go have a slap fight like Captain America or Batman or anything like that. You have to come up with a reason why a character who keeps saying, I'm not a superhero, has a reason to go out and do something relatively heroic,
Yeah.
Yeah.
That takes a lot of forethought. That's not something where you can just snap your fingers and say, okay, she's fighting Venom this week.
Yeah, that wouldn't be a good series, personally. Like, I don't know much about this show, but I do know I wouldn't watch it if they were just slapping people together and trying to make a plot out of nothing. You know what I mean? So it sounds really good as is.
We've watched the show. It is a slow burn. It is like a 13-hour-long thriller. It gets freaky at sometimes. And actually, in addition to the announcement of season 2, on Twitter, they put out an ad on Elise Investigations letterhead with a handwritten note that says, how can I help, and a phone number, 212-256-1084. If you call the number, you'll get to the voicemail of Elise Investigations and be asked to leave a message about how they can help. You can actually leave a message for the show. So I would almost like to leave a message just to see if that would make it into the show somehow.
You should.
I was kind of curious about that.
That's really cool. How many shows do that? How many shows go out of their way to interact with their audience? That's amazing.
Well, a phone number in a show or movie that leads to an actual line is not exactly new, but most of them just have to do with pre-recorded messages, not one where you can actually leave something. So I'm rather curious.
Yeah, I mean, I've never seen anything like that on TV or, in a movie even, but it's awesome. It's nice to know that they're doing that.
Yeah. Well, Fox has gone all in behind their latest projects. There were 2 Deadpool fan events last week, one in New York, one in Los Angeles. This was a moment straight out of Comic-Con, I swear. They arranged these things where they said they were getting groups of fans together, and they were going to show them clips from the new Deadpool film, so that they could get a rating on it and get some pre-screeners. Usually that's the point where you get some usable quotes and advertisements and all that. That's not. They didn't get that at all. As soon as the place was full and everyone was seated, they brought out a couple cast members from the movie who greeted everybody.
Oh my God!
And then they told them that they can't show them clips from the movie. So instead, they're going to show them the entire movie.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That is so awesome.
Oh. The early reviews from these screenings, there are several quotes here. Let me see. From John Michael Melende. Holy chimichanga, Deadpool was phenomenal. Such a great job. Well done, guys. From Eric on Twitter, Deadpool was amazing, so damn hilarious, so dumb, and probably one of my favorite movies. From Twitter user Majin Bunny, literally best Marvel movie. I was low-key hella doubtful, but by far the best executed movie I've seen in a long time. The reviews coming out are almost amazingly glowing, frankly.
Well, I think it always helps that you invited people that would be interested in the movie, so when they see it, they get all hyped up and everything, and you get your good reviews.
Well, those aren't the only reviews coming out. They're also getting some early Twitter reviews from press screeners, and people are just in love with this film.
Nice.
That's so nice to know.
I loved his recent Australia Day message.
Yeah,
that was hilarious.
Yeah, and that's not the only bit of news when it comes to the Deadpool film, because there is one group of people who will not see this movie unless they go to the internet.
Oh. Okay.
China has banned the movie.
Oh. Okay.
Okay.
Why?
According to the country's censors, it was due to, quote, violence, nudity, and graphic language, unquote.
Yeah.
They're
kind of
That's all?
there.
That's weird. You know how many movies have that?
Yeah, but we're talking China. They have a whole different set of standards when it comes to what they allow the populace to view.
Pretty much.
Yeah. That
Big
makes
Brother
sense.
is watching and banning your movies.
Yeah, and while he's choking the life out of you.
I guess I just didn't expect it with this particular movie. I don't know much about it, but...
Well, the interesting thing is, though, that could be a heck of a hit to the movie's bottom line as far as box office takes, because China, we discussed this a few weeks ago, China's turned into pretty much the number 2 movie market in the world as far as ticket sales.
Oh, yeah, and box office sales have been dropping in general lately, so, I mean, they're going to want to make that money however they can, so...
Yeah, but it's an R-rated film, so they're not going to back down on that anytime soon. There's been talk about another Fox movie coming out in the near future, one I almost forgot about, X-Men Age of Apocalypse.
Oh, that one.
Yeah, they've been talking recently.
I have friends who are
They've
not
been talking
excited.
recently to some of the actors in the film, and the actors are talking about some of the character similarities and differences compared to the original source material. Olivia Munn is playing Psylocke in the film.
Mm-hmm.
Olivia Munn!
Yeah, and she talked about helping design the character's big screen look. She said, quote, everybody decides what the costume should look like, so it's like an art picture of here's what we think Psylocke's going to look like. There's my head. I think first I thought it was going to be purple because we were going up against time and making it black at first. The latex is in black and all the armor is in black, so it's just easier. But I was like, you've got to make it purple. That's kind of what my first thought was when I saw myself in the costume, which is Photoshop. Then I saw myself completely put together. It was a very nerdy, cool dream. It was just like, whoa, it just doesn't seem real, unquote. They also changed things around a bit in the movie compared to the character itself. And I think Steve and Jesse will be able to pick up on this. Let me read a quote first. Quote, Psylocke is telepathic and telekinetic. In the movie, we see her being a telekinetic. We don't see her being telepathic. It's a decision because this is really the first time we've been able to see the character of Psylocke and have her really truly exist in the movies. I talked about it with Simon Kinberg. There's just so much going on, especially with Apocalypse's power, then trying to take on all the X-Men. When you're telepathic, I feel if it's a power that you want to hold close to your chest. It's a card you don't want a lot of people to know about because it's so much more powerful when people don't know that you have it, unquote.
Yeah. Well, I mean, her character originally was only a telepath, but then flip-flopped into the telekinesis. I think right now she's, still telekinetic, right?
It didn't flip-flop. What happened was she used the breadth of her psychic power to lock the Shadow King away, which awakened a new power set in her head. So because her telepathy wasn't available, she developed the telekinetics.
Right.
As of right now in the comic book, she's able to do both.
Okay.
I'm personally a little bit troubled by that, not because technically of the telekinetics, but I was really looking forward to the challenges of seeing the character on screen without the telekinetics abilities and just focusing on the psychic blade and the weird butterfly effect that always follows her around when she uses her powers.
Yeah.
Yeah, Elise, to give you some background, Psylocke is one of the more complicated characters in Marvel as far as history. Mm-hmm. She's a British national. Her powers were all telepathic in nature. Her brother is a magic-imbued Superman-style figure, and when he couldn't perform his duties, she took his costume and tried to when her eyes were ripped out by one of his arch-nemeses.
Oh my god, that's awesome. I mean, that, but...
Yeah, she compensated for her lack of sight by using her telepathy and looking through the eyes of everyone around her. She was kidnapped by an interdimensional being, and cybernetic eyes and cameras were put in her head. Let's see, later on she was sent through an interdimensional gateway, lost her memory, had her mind switched with that of a Japanese assassin, where it's been ever since. And since then, she kind of had some ingrained ninja skills, started to use her telepathy as a more offensive weapon rather than just an all-encompassing one. And that's where we're at now.
Oh, wow. Okay, so there's been some character development there.
Yeah, I wouldn't blame you if you needed a graph to follow all that.
It sounds really cool.
And we're not even talking about the Red Dawn and stuff like that. So
The Red Hoodie Woody.
The Red Dawn, her stints in Excalibur, her membership in X-Force, her current membership as one of the most lethal X-Men available.
her really screwed up love life.
Yeah.
Awesome. She sounds really cool, and it sounds like something I would sit down and read for real. Like, that's awesome.
You know what, guys? Elise actually would look awesome in Psylocke's Extreme X-Men uniform.
Oh, but this is like, I mean, this is totally off topic, but I mean,
we'll have to go through that later because that's not a well-known costume. I'd have to look that up.
Yeah, I'd love to see.
Going forward, though, in the conversation, now that we've had that fun derailing of the train, Lana Condor is also in X-Men Age of Apocalypse. She plays Jubilee.
Right.
And she talks about a difference, but I'm not sure it's a difference. She talks about the powers with Joe Blow, and she said, quote, her power in the comic books is fireworks. In this film, I can safely say that her power is more fire plasmoid electricity type, unquote.
Right.
And as soon as I read that, I'm like, pump the brakes. That is her power.
Yeah, it's not fireworks. Sorry. That's how everybody likens it, but it's not actual fireworks.
They even use the words in the Marvel comics like 10 years ago, I use energy plasmoids.
Huh. Oh, okay, well.
So, I mean, I'm not laying that at her feet. She's an actress. I mean, not every actress has to read comic books, but that tells me that somebody at Fox did not really inform her like they should have.
Yeah.
That's a bit odd. I mean,
But
that's basic history, you know?
Yeah. But she did have some news about how each actor is approaching their portrayal of some of the younger characters in the film. Mm-hmm. That does give me hope that they at least study the characters a bit. Listen to this, quote, when she talks about her character anyway, quote, she's a student at the X Mansion and she's been here for about 10 years. So she's not new, unlike some of the other characters who have just arrived. She's mostly with Scott, Jean, and Cody Smith-McPhee, who plays Nightcrawler. They're like her good core friend group, and in this film, she serves as a timepiece, because you never really forget that you're, like, in the 80s. Because if you've seen my costume, like, I'm straight out of the 80s. They literally took me out of it. And she also serves as a kind of comedic relief at times where things might be a little more tense and real SHIT is going down, unquote.
Yep, that sounds like Jubes.
Yeah. Fox has been working on the Legion TV show. Legion is the character of Professor Xavier's son with multiple personality disorder and a power for each personality.
Oh, I forgot they were doing this.
Well, unfortunately, he's taken a step backwards because Actually, Legion was not the show I'm supposed to be talking about. I'm supposed to be talking about the Hellfire show. They're also working on a show based on the Hellfire Club.
Oh, right.
The Hellfire Club has taken a step backwards as far as TV because Evan Katz and Manny Coto were supposed to be the showrunners, according to Deadline. But because of the recent revival of Fox's 24 TV show, Katz and Coto have been called over to run the new 24 Legacy series. So Hellfire now exists with they're looking for new showrunners for their show. That's not a good sign when they're willing to yank, tested people out to work on another property.
Yeah.
When you're trying to make a new show. That's really not a good sign. That's a show of a lack of faith.
Yep. That's a show of lack of commitment.
That too. All right, from there we go to DC media news. We talk about the properties that are all DC related that don't end up on comic book pages. And have you guys seen the production art for Batman v Superman showing what's going to be the entirety of the new Justice League for the DC Cinematic Universe?
I may have.
Nope.
That's not a helpful sign. Have you or haven't you?
I
I
don't
know.
know.
I've seen a lot
I
of things.
believe
I'm not sure if it's the one you're looking at.
They only released one picture. It's a picture from left to right of Aquaman, Cyborg, Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman, and The Flash. This is supposed to be what their cinematic versions would look like.
I've totally seen this. It was okay.
Yep.
I hate that I'm.
It was
No,
part
I
of a
did not
meme,
see that.
actually.
This is not a meme.
Oh,
This is
wow.
the actual production art that DC or
Oh.
Warner Entertainment released.
So, yeah, I was saying the first time I saw it was attached to a meme. I don't remember what it was, but it had something
Yeah,
to do
don't
with
take
why is
memes
Green
for
Lantern
news,
not
man.
there?
That's the first mistake.
Beware the memers.
Because why is the Green Lantern not there? Because I've seen the Green Lantern movie. That's something you want to forget. It's one of those things where it reminds me a lot of the ads for Batman v Superman. Yes, these characters are portrayed as larger than life, but boring as dirt.
I
They
don't
all
know.
look like they're
This
just.
is my first look at the Aquaman, and I think that looks pretty interesting.
I don't know. They kind of look like they're standing there together at a street side because they missed a bus.
Well, it's
Oh.
I don't know. It looks like a typical comic book. Crap's gone down, ash is floating in the air, and they're all just kind of standing there doing their pose thing.
Maybe they're
Hiding in the
inhaling
pose
the
while shit's
ashes
gone
of
down.
Pa Kent.
No, this is a really, really cool image. I remember seeing it on Twitter, and I was like, "Oh, this is cool." I didn't realize this is what you were talking about. Because I remember being excited when I saw the trailer for the Wonder Woman movie. I don't know if it's actually called Wonder Woman, but she's in it. And
Yeah,
when I saw her in this image, I was just like, yes, because she was my favorite growing up. I had a Wonder Woman bag when I was a kid. I didn't read the comics, but
That was
excited.
That was one of the few things we universally liked out of the large Batman v Superman trailer. Was Wonder Woman's appearance was awesome, but as soon as they suddenly showed Henry Cavill and what's his name? God.
Can't remember his name.
I know.
Good job, Jeremy.
Ben Affleck.
Ben
There we
Affleck,
go.
thank you. When we saw Henry Cavill and the Batfleck, my heart just sank again because I was reminded they're still in the movie.
I don't know. I still think that should have been saved for the movie. That's just my opinion.
You mean the Wonder Woman movie?
The Wonder Woman reveal. Yes.
They revealed a lot of things in that. They revealed Wonder Woman. Yeah, they revealed Wonder Woman. They revealed Doomsday. They revealed the head of Facebook as the villain of the film. There was a special last week that had both footage of Batman v Superman and a little bit of footage of Wonder Woman. I do have the 4-minute featurette that they had about Batman v Superman, which includes new footage.
No, okay.
All right. Okay. No, I sent the video. There's Super Doof.
Has grown up having their heroes. These are the biggest names, icons.
Okay. Oh. Little concept art of the Flash.
It's an opportunity to bring them all together into a single world.
Zack Snyder is just not my type of director. He's very good with visuals, but he's not really very good with
Aquaman.
telling a story visually. I'm not sure if that made any sense.
No, I think it did. I want to actually watch
Now is the time.
Marvel films. I've never seen the series.
Well, yeah, the Suicide Squad is connected to Batman v Superman, which is connected to Man of Steel. They're going to start rolling together all their films.
That's not surprising, but I think it's really cool if they're doing it well. If it's done well, it could be awesome.
Today is a
But
day
it could
I'm
also
always-
go.
the world needs to know.
Well, I'm concerned that they started here because Batman v Superman, that should be like the end of several years of storytelling. Your two big guns getting ready to beat the crap out of each other.
Superman was never real.
Yeah, actually, that's.
But this
a
is
very
where they're
good point.
starting.
Zod was fighting Superman.
Yeah, I don't.
And we had a
know
conversation in Las
kinda
Vegas
cool.
where
Things were blowing up.
we had a conversation in Vegas where I said this should be a series of 3 films. One film where it looks like Superman has the upper hand, another film where Batman gets the upper hand and whoops his butt, and then you have the rubber match.
He's older, darker.
That'd be really, really awesome.
He has the power to wipe out the
I think they
entire
could
human race.
really do well ending a series of movies with something like this. The fact that they're starting out with it does seem a little bit iffy now that I think about it.
This
I don't know.
vigilante is like a one-man reign of terror.
Well, it's personal opinion. I could be completely wrong, and this movie rules. I mean, Batman Begins was a great film, but I have less faith in Zack Snyder based on Man of Steel. That movie did not impress me in the least.
I have no doubt that this movie is going to be good. It's just a matter of how it's going to fit in with their other works later down the road, because it all needs to be cohesive, or it's not going to feel like it's all interconnected.
Wow, that is a good grip. You should not pick a fight with this person. Lex feels competitive with Bruce Wayne. He's learned everything about him. Lex hates Superman. Learned everything about him.
Jesse Eisenberg is Lex Luthor.
Controlling these two, forcing them into conflict.
I'm just not.
I think it's hilarious.
Match in the history of the world.
It's hilarious, honestly. I want to see if he can pull it off, though. I think could.
Batman vs Superman begins to set the stage for Justice League, when all of these heroes come together and fight as a single unit.
Just not what I visualized. I'm kind of sad that they didn't go with the guy who begged to basically have the role.
I know nothing about
Bryan
that.
Bryan Cranston wanted to do it. She's got legs.
Get legs. That is the trailer I saw in theaters when I went to go see The Martian. Actually.
Yeah, we got a mix of footage here. Batman v Superman: The Suicide Squad.
Yeah.
Each and every one of us wants to be a hero. These heroes have so many real qualities. It makes us think we can be heroes as well.
These heroes have so many real qualities, like the I-beams and the
playing
superb amount of money.
It's going to be fun.
Yeah.
Going along for the ride.
What was the Hydra thing?
Don't forget, Batman v Superman kicks off the dawn of the Justice League, March 25th. Don't miss it.
I don't know if I'm ever gonna get over how scantily clad some female superheroes are. That is a discussion for another day, but you ain't safe in that.
Well, we've always had issues with Wonder Woman's costume on this show. Not with the character so much, but the look of it was always frustrating. But
yeah, you
speaking
can tell
of which,
that a man designed that outfit.
Well, we've seen some female designed outfits that really aren't any better.
That's true. Unfortunately, some of the... Well, Steve's right. We've seen some featurettes where women say they're going to redesign like 10 prominent female superhero costumes, and it went to the other extreme. They were so covered it seemed like they could barely move at some points, and then other times it seemed like they forgot what kind of storytelling medium this is.
Are you talking about Catwoman? Because her clothes were interesting. Like, they seemed very not helpful for the stealth. Like, they would squeak when she
actually,
moved.
There was an artist who tried to redesign several superheroes, including Valkyrie. She basically took her cues from Nordic armor, which made her look like a linebacker at some points. And then some of her arguments were kind of interesting because she said she was trying to do things with more feminine ideals in mind. Yet when she redesigned She-Hulk, she gave her a onesie and no boots. She was barefoot.
Okay, I'm trying to imagine that, but I can't, because what you just said, like, that stirs all kinds of images in my mind. Okay. Okay. So, the thing is, with female superheroes, I feel like there is a happy medium with how they could be dressed, but it tends to, like you said, go to either one end or the other. And I dream of the day that we see a female character in a comic who's kicking ass and dressed practically and looking hot and not having her boobs flopping out of her. I can't handle it. Like, it's funny when I think about how the boobie physics. I know boobies. I understand boobies, and your boobs aren't staying put in that thing, Wonder Woman. They no. I'm sorry.
Just because just because you study breasts more often than I do doesn't mean I don't appreciate the physics of it, first of all.
Where's the lie, though?
Secondly, though, after the show is over, I want you to look up several characters. Batgirl, Psylocke in her Uncanny X-Force outfit, and the current Miss Marvel.
Okay. All right, I can do that.
Because those are current modern examples of new superheroes or their new redesigns, and they are fantastic.
I would love to see. Honestly, like, I'm not one of those people raging on Tumblr about how comic artists never do anything right and how women are constantly being sexualized. If I see a well-drawn, well-dressed female hero, I'm not about to be like, oh, finally. I'm going to be like, hell yeah, this is cool. Like, I'm not about to throw shade to that. So I will definitely look them up, and I'm excited to see what was done with them. You know what I mean?
Okay. Yeah. But we also have the part of the featurette that DC Media had this week also included apparently the first footage from the new Wonder Woman movie. I'm going to assume I don't have to ask.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
Okay. I went ahead and sent the video.
Same sound V does.
That's a big W.
Yeah.
And people on horses.
Really loud.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it is.
Oh my god.
Oh, she's using a shield.
Oh.
In some of these scenes, she almost looks like she's British.
I think I've heard that it's supposed to be a period piece at some point, but I'm not quite sure what period.
That would make sense.
Yeah.
Looks like
Might
World
be taking
War
place
I.
during the First World War, maybe? Yeah, it
This
looks like
doesn't
it.
look modern. Yeah.
Okay,
Oh,
that
that was
ended
awesome.
abruptly.
Yeah,
That's
very
it.
abruptly.
You know, she's swinging a sword, is about to get cool, and all of a sudden, you're done.
That might have been intentional, but it kind of stung. I wanted to see more.
I'm of mixed minds about that. I don't mind it, but it's just not high on my priority list. Probably because I'm personally a Marvelite.
Yeah,
You know,
I'm remotely interested to see what they could do with a period piece.
I didn't say I wouldn't see it. It's just not one of those things that's making me, jump up and down in my chair. I'm still waiting for the footage on the Miss Marvel film. But then again, that's still waiting on them to actually cast Captain Marvel. So, I got to just be patient. You guys saw the logo in there. What'd you think of that design?
I was fine with it.
It's all right.
Yeah, I thought it was pretty cool.
It gets the point across pretty well, I would say.
Yeah.
There was a. Yeah, it's broad, it's brash, it's about right. There were some logos that were revealed for other characters in the DC Cinematic Universe. 3 of them, actually. I sent the link so you guys could take a look. It's the logos for Flash, Cyborg, and Aquaman.
I'm excited to see Cyborgs and Aquamans because, okay, I know it's not really true to the comics, but I did watch Teen Titans growing up. And I have an affection for the boys. They're such good boys.
It's going to be nothing like that, unfortunately, because we're talking about the first Flash, Barry Allen, and then you have,
dude, I know.
and then Cyborg is going to be almost completely unrecognizable compared to what he was, I'm sure. The one I was most looking forward to was Aquaman. Yeah, the one I was looking most forward to was Aquaman, but he is going to be nothing like his comic book counterpart.
No.
Oh, hell no.
I like these logos. They are awesome. I like the Cyborg one a lot. Wow.
Well, to be honest, the Cyborg you saw in Teen Titans is actually more true to his original comic book origins, actually.
Oh, really? Oh, that makes me happy.
Yeah.
Cool. Because I have wanted to actually take a look at the Teen Titans
Unfortunately,
comic.
In the New 52, they completely changed everything.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but we still haven't found out how much the movies will affect the comic books. We don't know that yet.
Oh, yeah, I forgot that sometimes, since they're so intertwined. Yeah, okay. Oh, this is awesome.
Well, the latest trailer was put out for the Suicide Squad during this media event they had as well.
Okay.
I saw that, actually.
It's one of those things I'm still of mixed minds about. I went, you know it was going to be news this week, so I went ahead and sent the video.
Oh my god.
This little Bohemian Rhapsody.
I was singing this on the car ride here.
Harley Quinn.
Holy shit, that Will Smith.
That's Will Smith. He's playing Deadshot. El Diablo, Captain Boomerang.
Slipknot.
No, that was Captain Boomerang.
They're bad guys. Worst of the worst.
I want to see this.
Overheard.
I want to
Black
see
man
this.
beat up in prison. That doesn't happen.
Totally on the list.
Oof. Captain Boomerang.
Deadshot. People. He's a crocodile and he eats people. Burns people. You're possessed by a witch. And she's just crazy.
What was that? I should kill everyone and escape? Sorry. The voices. I'm kidding. That's not what they really said.
This is the deal. You're going somewhere very bad.
Whoa.
Do something that'll get you killed.
What's with the black goo everywhere? It looks like Eddie Brock's been here.
This is so awesome.
Show you my toys.
I'm loving the cinematography. Holy shit.
I'm not liking Meth Mouth Joker.
No.
Oh my god, it's hilarious. Look at that now.
That's a guy that does not need a Red Bull.
Seriously, can we talk about the cinematography? Because holy shit. Awesome.
What?
It looks like Joker bleeds in Technicolor.
What the hell's wrong with you people?
We're bad guys. It's what we do.
I will be honest, I am remotely interested now, but I'm still not convinced of Will Smith.
I think he could be good, but I don't know his character. Because he's just a very talented actor. If he puts himself into it well, he could do well. But what's his character like?
Deadshot is a master assassin, father of a young girl. I don't know where his wife or ex-wife is in the picture. Batman kicks his ass on a regular basis. That's about the long and short of it, frankly. I'm not convinced of Will Smith. I am not a fan of his work in general. And he's been reported to be real difficult to deal with on several sets. I'm actually... Based on that trailer, we saw the scene where the Joker's fishing Harley Quinn out of a vat of chemicals.
Mm-hmm.
That's one of my least favorite things going on here. I found out that the current iteration of Harley Quinn in the New 52, you know how pre-Flashpoint, the story of Harley Quinn was that she made a choice to become a villain. She got seduced by the Joker and became basically his gal pal, right?
Right.
Mm-hmm.
The post-Flashpoint version of Harley Quinn was that she didn't make a choice. The Joker took her hostage, threw her into a vat of chemicals, and she came out nuts.
Really?
That doesn't seem realistic, even to me.
That's it. That's the Joker's original history before Flashpoint happened. So you saw it in the trailer. That section of video is going to be repeated, basically. Her history or her origin is she was thrown in a vat of chemicals and became crazy. That kind of takes a lot of the nuance out of the Harley Quinn character rather than making a bunch of conscious choices to become this character who holds her own against a lot of the physically fit members of DC, rather than through in this thing she got stronger, crazy, and then she just kind of dyed her hair, you know.
Yeah.
Now I'm disappointed. Damn it.
Yeah. That's a...
The other thing I got from looking at the
down.
trailer... Well, the other thing I got from looking at the trailer kind of troubles me because I noticed in a lot of the team shots, the Suicide Squad is like 8 people, but I've never seen more than 6 of them in one place. So that tells me that either a couple of them are going to get killed early, or a lot of the power players like El Diablo and Killer Croc are going to go down fast, and then it's going to be left to the more human members like Boomerang, Deadshot, and Harley Quinn to deal with the actual threat on a less even scale. You know what I mean?
Or some of them are just trying to just,
Well, come on.
just
One of the
sneak
characters they're
around,
introducing
maybe, I
is
don't
one of the characters they're introducing is Slipknot, a guy who has indestructible ropes. You can't convince me that halfway through the movie they're not going to find him hanging from one of his own ropes in a moment of quote irony.
Yeah. It's almost guaranteed that he's gonna die.
Yeah.
That's just the proof point of the Suicide Squad. You're not guaranteed to come back.
Well, the Suicide Squad's mission is that they take.
I could see them just having him survive just against all odds.
I've taken like 3 good looks at the trailer. He's in surprisingly few sections of it.
I know.
They did
but it's
release
not like
a
they
new.
Can't edit stuff.
Yeah, they did release a new movie poster, and the poster I think has more personality than the trailer does. I sent it so you guys could take a look. It's basically a punk rock version of dead eyes and teeth on a skull, and the characters arranged in such a way that they make up the teeth, with the exception of the Joker.
And one of the eyes.
Yeah, and you can see the cast down there. If you take out Amanda Waller, who's on the right side, there's a good 8 of them. And I noticed during that trailer there was never that many of them all put together.
Yeah, total of 9.
My question is, where does Katana come into it? Because she didn't look to me in any of the prison scenes.
Right.
No. Transfer from Interpol? I don't know.
Well, Katana is kind of an interesting story because she's human for most intents and purposes. Very well-trained fighter, but that sword of hers is called Soul Taker. Anybody she kills with it, their soul is immediately drained into the blade, and she can communicate with all of the souls in it.
Okay, wow. I've never heard of her, but that sounds like a really awesome power to have.
It sounds like it,
something
but
can make you crazy real quick.
Yeah, characters never.
I was about to say it's not something I would want personally. That sounds terrifying, but kudos to her for not offing herself, because I probably would. Oh my god.
Well, it's worse than you think. Her husband's soul is also in that sword.
Oh
no!
Oh, wonderful!
Oh my god, you're kidding! That's fucked up.
No, depending on which iteration of DC you're talking about, sometimes her son is in it as well. So it's very complicated.
That's terrible. That would drive someone.
That is not conducive to proper healing.
Yeah, as some would say, that's so metal.
Hardcore parkour.
Danny Trejo would like a role in DC Cinematic Universe, although as a man of 70 or 71, I don't know if he'd get what he wants.
What's he asking for?
Danny Trejo. Well, you know who Danny Trejo is. He's a former gangster.
Oh yeah, I know. The one that always dies in all the movies that he's in.
He's a long-haired Mexican actor. He's usually got a pretty good sense of humor, and he's often said that he used to be a gang member, and he always picks roles where he dies usually, so that it seems like there's a consequence to a lot of his villainous roles. He takes that very well to heart. He wants to be a Zarnian.
A what?
Oh, yeah.
A Zarnian. There's only one Zarnian in the DC universe because he killed the other Zarnians.
Oh, right. Okay.
Danny Trejo wants to be Lobo.
Yeah, no.
Oh!
I actually, if it was him a couple years ago, I could totally see him doing it. But, yeah.
Yeah, it's just his age getting in the way, as well as DC's recent redesigns of the character. The one he's thinking of, and he posted pictures on his Twitter, is the original Lobo, not the current one. The current one is very, very different.
Has he read the comic? Has he ever posted about reading the comic?
Well, I'm sure he read the originals.
Yeah.
Has he read any of
I doubt he's read any of the current stuff, because the character was changed about, what, guys, like a year ago, right?
Yeah.
I'd say 2, maybe.
Has it been that long?
I think so.
The character is not as much of a space biker anymore. He's more svelte. They try to portray him more as a space assassin rather than a space roughneck. And the reviews on it are decidedly mixed, because people aren't wild about the new design, yet the same kind of dialogue seems to come generally out of his mouth that came out of the original character's mouth. So it's real
doesn't
weird.
Make any damn sense.
Yeah, I tried reading a couple issues and I couldn't wrap my head around it, because every time he spoke, I kept seeing the large handlebar mustache, the stogie, the bizarre motorcycle space thing he would ride. Occasionally the dog. I remember the dog every now and again. The character of Vixen is coming in an upcoming episode of The Arrow. If you recall, the animated Vixen is the same one who's going to be playing the live-action one. A picture was released by the CW of what this character is going to look like in the show, and it's a decent compromise, in my opinion. Vixen has the powers to take on the attributes of whatever animal she's copying at the time, thanks to a mystic totem.
Something like that.
Yeah, they came up with an interesting visual aspect for it as well. Take a look. It does remind me a bit of her current comic book costume, as well as they added this nice visual output that isn't in the comic books at all.
She looks badass.
Could be interesting. Yeah. I just wish I was more of a fan of Arrow so I could check it out. The show doesn't do anything for me.
I've never seen it. I don't even think I've heard of it, so I'm not any help.
Well, Arrow is the current show on the CW based on the exploits of DC's Green Arrow.
Oh, okay. All right.
Well, the show that came out just last week, Legends of Tomorrow, remember we said that they were going to, in their time travel adventures, come across Jonah Hex at some point?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Just last week, Jonathan Sate has been cast as Jonah Hex. The report doesn't reveal which episode he's going to appear in, but it does say that Hex could become a recurring character on the series. That's all we got. I wish there was more on that. And last part of DC Media News, they have cast a young Kal-El for Supergirl.
Okay.
Oh, probably for some flashback.
Supergirl. I have mixed feelings
no,
about
he was an
Supergirl,
infant
but that's
when
what
that
to
happened.
say.
Well, first of all, it's going to be played by Daniel DiMaggio. I don't know. I don't know anything else he's been in. He's going to be in an upcoming episode titled "For the Girl Who Has Everything," which is the homage to the Man Who Has Everything storyline from comics. We talked about that just last week. The question is what kind of role he'll have, because technically the way they've laid out the TV show, Supergirl wasn't there for any part of young Clark Kent's life.
Yeah.
So maybe this will be the dream sequence where the Black Mercy makes her think she arrived on Earth at the point she was supposed to and is trying to raise her cousin and protect him.
Yeah. That will make sense.
It's the best theory I got. Everything else just wouldn't make a lot of sense to anybody.
Mm-hmm.
I know slightly more about Batman than I do Superman, so I'm totally clueless here. I really wish I knew more about
Superman. It's okay.
Superman.
Well, you're about to learn a ton more because now we have general media news. We're going to talk about the nerdy properties that aren't in Marvel and DC related. And first one is one that caused a lot of no memes to come out in the last week.
Oh.
By that, I mean it was announced that Star Wars Episode 8 has been pushed back 8 months.
Oh.
Wow.
The original release date was May 26, 2017. It was going to be released right in the midst of all the superhero movies starting out during the spring of 2017. It has now been moved to December 15th, 2017.
Wow.
Okay.
That
No
would be a
reason-
smart move, actually.
Did they move it because of the superhero craze? Like they didn't want there to be that much competition, or was it just kind of like a production thing? What's up with that?
Well, that kind of dovetails into another story from this week, because the official word from Disney was that they were just moving into the popular holiday movie-going corridor. But
yeah, which is typically when they come out.
However, the story also came out this week that several script changes are being made to Star Wars Episode 8 in regards to fan reactions to Star Wars The Force Awakens. You see,
because I love The Force Awakens. That was a good movie. Oh,
well,
yes.
let me expand on this, because I spent a little while combing through this to make sure I had this right. When it came to Star Wars Episode 8, originally 2 new female characters were being brought in. Supposedly there were 2 actresses already picked for these roles, and they were working on how heavy the role was going to be. Based on the fan reactions to Episode 7, they thought that the character of Rey was only going to be like kind of lukewarmly received at that point, because her original role in Star Wars Episode 7 was kind of threadbare. Finn seemed like he was supposed to be the major star. Rey was kind of the foil to be expanded upon later, and Poe Dameron was supposed to die entirely.
Right.
Ugh, I love
Several changes have been made, and the role of Rey in Episode 7 was expanded a bit. It turns out that that's one of the characters that, because she has the least amount of history, has the most interest. So, from what I understand, Star Wars Episode 8 is being written so that these two new female characters, their roles are being drawn down, and the role of Rey is being expanded in Star Wars Episode 8. That's the reason for the delay, because they're shifting around the importance of the characters in regards to storytelling.
Okay.
That's
okay.
good.
I can get behind that. That's awesome. Rey has a really great character. This is cool.
You know, that's just my understanding of the whole thing, and I think I've got that right because I spent a long time sifting through it to make sure that what I think was happening, because all I could really read about in 90% of the stories online when I heard about Star Wars being delayed was, no, you can't do this to me, as if it's freaking personal.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh my god. Tumblr.
You know, and everybody rejoice because as of January 31st, Venture Brothers Season 6 begins.
Oh, really?
Oh my god, I used to watch that when I was a kid, which sounds terrible, but it's true.
Midnight, Sunday, January 31st on Adult Swim. It's Venture Brothers Season 6. There has not been a new episode of Venture Brothers in over a year since the All This and Gargantua 2-hour-long special.
Mm-hmm.
And this is the period of his life where Dr. Venture has some success because of the death of his brother. He's inherited his fortune, his properties, his patents, everything.
But you know that's
you already know it's not going to turn out well because he basically did the same thing with when his dad went. So.
Oh yeah.
Not only that, but apparently, not only that. Apparently, there's going to be several Marvel parody characters in this season, including Captain Stars and Garters, and the Fallen Archer.
Oh, good lord!
This is gonna be awesome.
This is gonna be a fun damn season.
Captain Stars and Garters.
It's gonna be a fuck
Is that
show,
some kind of amalgamation between the Beast and Captain America?
No, it is a character running around in a shield and a garter belt.
Oh.
Ah, too good. That's awesome.
Yeah.
This is really going to be a fun show. God.
Well, they already had the Spider-Man guy being played by Nathan Fillion, so you know something was going to happen.
Yeah.
Did you guys hear about the new Ravenloft module?
A what?
No.
Ravenloft is returning in new Dungeons and Dragons. It's a new module called Curse of the Strahd.
Huh.
Do you know what the Strahd is in Dungeons and Dragons lore?
No.
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 The Strahd basically means vampires and gothic horror.
Right.
It also means that Castle Ravenloft is going to make an appearance in the next module.
Right, because Strahd was the ruler of the castle.
Mm-hmm.
I think.
They're going to return to Ravenloft, go toe-to-toe with the Strahd himself, the ruler of vampires, and the new mechanics in Curse of the Strahd will offer dungeon masters the ability to keep the module fresh through multiple playthroughs. Players can encounter a fortune teller named Madame Ava, who uses a deck of Taroka cards to guide them on their quest to explore Barovia. And to coincide with the launch of the module, Gale Force 9 is going to be producing a physical version of the deck for dungeon masters to use.
Oh.
Dungeon masters can randomize the locations adventurers visit, altering characters and artifacts they seek as the threats they face, drawing blind cards from the Taroka deck, offering the ability to customize the adventure for their parties time and time again, ensuring it can always be a little bit different.
I'm actually not big on tabletop gaming, but I can appreciate the actual mechanics and the art and the stories, so that's pretty cool.
I think if I ran a game based on this, I would have to get everybody bedpans, because I know my expression when somebody's just going to draw a card to find out what the effect of whatever I did is just going to do, like they're suggesting here. You know, you just draw a Taroka card as a DM to see what's going to happen. That makes people pee their pants.
And depending on your gym, you might get a bunch of apologies.
Or a bunch of slaps
cackling laughter.
Or slaps upside the head with Taroka cards. This next one makes me both happy and sad because it means I'm getting old.
Oh, man.
Labyrinth. Rebooted.
Yes,
I've been
hearing that.
Yeah, heard about that too. I've never seen it.
You've never seen... Good Lord, you're as bad as Kirk.
Steve, you need to walk into the next room, kick him directly in the ass, and as soon as the show is over, stream Labyrinth. Because that was an amazing piece of Frank Oz storytelling.
That would explain why he had no reaction when I was sitting there watching the honest trailer for it.
Well, the timing of all this is just so curious, though, because just this past week was the 30th anniversary of Labyrinth. This past week, David Bowie died.
I know.
And now, in the same week, they announced that Labyrinth is starting over again.
That's a really odd sequence of events.
Isn't it, though? And just the other question is, who in the hell are you going to find that is so eclectic and odd to play the Goblin King?
Johnny Depp.
Oh, God. Even I haven't even seen Labyrinth.
I would normally say yes, but given how he goes, he's just going to dress up. He's dressed up as Keith Moon. He's dressed up as Keith Richards. This time around, he might actually dress up as the lead singer of the frickin' Rolling Stones and pretend to be him for 2 hours. So I would say no.
Yeah, I don't know.
2 hours of a Mick Jagger impersonation? No way. Did you also hear that somebody is leaving Doctor Who at the end of next season?
Yes, I did.
I did not.
The showrunner, Stephen Moffat, one of the guys responsible for the show basically coming to the height it is, he's leaving the show.
Yep.
I thought that would be a big deal.
I found that out from your wife's Facebook post, actually.
I spent a while double-checking just to make sure, because the news that this came from is all UK-based and offbeat. I was making sure it wasn't a parody site trying to troll somebody. But I'm a little surprised on two reasons. One is it's been like only 3 or 4 years that he's done this, and he's already leaving. That surprised me a bit. The other part that surprised me was a lot of people in the UK, apparently, this is considered a very long run in terms of Doctor Who.
Yeah, no, it is. Their turnover rate is pretty abrupt compared to ours.
Oh, God, what do you think this will do for the panel at Comic-Con?
I think there will be a lot of crying people.
There will be a lot of crying people if Jenna Coleman shows up to give a farewell.
Yeah.
Did you know there's a new constellation in the sky?
No.
There is?
Oh.
Yeah. 7 stars.
Oh, yes.
Have been arranged, and the new constellation is called Stardust.
Yeah, I know.
The Stardust. Well, maybe you wouldn't because you're not of the right age. The Stardust constellation was made in honor of David Bowie.
Yep.
It mimics the lightning bolt that was on his face during his Ziggy Stardust persona era.
Oh, I had a fish named Ziggy Stardust. Oh my gosh! Wow.
I am learning so much.
And that was a rockin' fish, okay? So that's awesome. Really.
It's nice that he got this kind of tribute. However, he died, and suddenly there's a constellation named after him. That explains everything, man. Freaking David Bowie was Loki.
Man,
we all just got fooled.
What better way to honor somebody than naming stars? I can't. That's awesome.
The only better way would be to slaughter their enemies.
Oh, and he went there.
Yeah. I was kind of surprised that I thought maybe video game drama was finally on the down low. It has been months since we've had any kind of esports drama on the show.
Uh-huh.
But then it came back in big bad way. There was a Counter-Strike team, an entire mid-level Counter-Strike team that quit.
I heard about this.
Okay, you tell the story then.
I said I heard about it. I didn't actually read it.
Go ahead. You know the story. Go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead.
All right. So apparently, in esports, one of the rules in esports, if you're caught in a God.
Sit down. You can't do this. You can't do this. Sit down.
No. Yeah. That's why I let you do it.
Well, the team was a mid-level Counter-Strike team. They currently call themselves Orgless, ORGLESS. They were under the financial wing of CSGO.ONE. It was a site where you could gamble on pro Counter-Strike matches, right?
Mm.
Yeah.
They all quit because apparently CSGO.1 actually started to fix matches with their teams by telling them when to throw matches.
Ooh.
Yep.
One of their members, Andre Mallier, known as Barbar, said, quote, "We are from today called Team Orglis after being proposed by CSGO1 to throw our upcoming games in Operation Kingwin. We want to make it clear that we're never going to accept such behavior. We are now seeking support for our upcoming tournaments such as the European Minor and Assembly Winter," unquote.
Huh.
CSGO.1, it wasn't even a monetary gambling site. You bet Counter-Strike skins for your characters. Which I guess technically is monetary since you have to pay money half the time to get these skins.
True.
It could be monetary. It could be free to play, or it could be pay to play, depending on how you go about it.
Counter-Strike, you actually have to pay to get certain skins. There are some that you can only get via purchase. There are some you get by wins, some you get by credits, but some can only be gotten via... Right. They treat skins like a lot of people will treat like Sideshow collectibles. They'll have something that's available for purchase for a very short, limited window, and once it's gone, they're never bringing it back.
I see. All right.
But it's all cosmetic, so...
Yeah. But still, that's what they were betting with.
Right.
Have you ever eaten from the head of an Ava?
I have not.
I can't say that I have, Jeremy.
No.
You could actually do that in Universal Studios Japan. They have a popcorn bucket that costs 3,980 yen and is approximately $34 US. It is shaped like the head of Ava Unit 1 from Evangelion. Take a look at this thing. It has glowing eyes and it is fierce.
Oh, holy crap. Okay, as an NGE fan, I'm so okay with it. Oh my god.
You can turn the lights of the eyes on and off, the mouth open and closes, and there's a panel in the top of the head that you can open to get your popcorn.
Unit 1.
I would be very afraid of stabbing the person next to me with the horn.
You could just hand it to them with a horn.
God,
that's
well, depending on what you're watching, you may just jump and it's like through somebody's eye. It's just like,
Oh yeah, you could just lose your eye.
Well, this is what you have. This is what you could buy at Universal Studios Japan. This is not a movie bucket. This is what you get at the theme park. And my response would be, this would be great for those guys that sit there and try and call you over when they're trying to like draw your picture. Because as soon as they try to get your attention, if you don't want it, you can just pick up the bucket and say, "Look in the eyes, look at the face. He's saying no."
Unit 1 says no. I just say Unit 1 says no. Oh my god, this is so awesome. Oh, thank you, Japan. Once again.
Well, you might want to hold that for just another minute because Japan just put out something lately that has recently also gone on sale in Korea. They're called devil cakes.
Devil cakes. Why does that
Devil Cakes is a One Piece related product. They are approximately $41 US or 50,000 Korean won. They're a limited number offered. They are cakes in the shape of Gum Gum fruit and Mera Mera fruit from One Piece.
The devil fruits.
Oh.
You guys want to see these cakes?
Sure.
Yeah, sure.
Here you go. They're cakes that have been given fondant treatments to look like the fruits from the anime. I assume that these stems are the handles by which you can carry them, because if you put your hands underneath them, you're going to be covered in fondant.
Yeah, that's really cool. I don't know if I could eat it because that looks like a hell of a lot of sugar, but that's awesome. So
I would say if it's not too rich, it'd be fine. But you can see scrolling down a bit that the cut open Gum Gum fruit, it looks like somebody stacked like 3 really big Oreos and then just surrounded it with frosting.
Oh god.
Oh, that's diabetes. Okay.
Yeah, I can feel.
I mean, the thing is
right
like it depending on how big it is, that is an actual cake, that you would be able to feed multiple people with. It looks like.
Yeah, if I was
it's approximately the size of a small child's ball. I would say it's about the size.
I still want to split it with someone. I wouldn't want to eat all that sugar by myself.
To put in perspective, you guys know I have large hands, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not large fingers. I have round, stubby fingers, but I have large hands. This thing is approximately the size of both of my fists balled up and put together.
Okay.
Yeah, way too much for me to eat by myself.
Yeah. I can't. I can't even eat that much in terms of a real meal, much less a dessert. So.
I could eat it all by myself, but I'm not going to feel good afterwards.
Well, I feel I feel it's a responsibility of the Rolling 20s to put out a disclaimer that you can go ahead and eat this cake, but after you do, if you attempt a gum punch, you're probably either going to get arrested or your ass whooped.
Yeah, please don't get arrested, guys. We really like you, so.
Well, of course we like them. That's why we tell them don't jerk and drive.
Wah, wah, wah.
Okay, now we have Marvel comic news. We talk about the Marvel properties that are coming out in the comic books in both the near future and the far-flung future, as well as sometimes the events that happened recently. I knew this was going to happen at some point, but it came about very unexpectedly. Steve Rogers in comics, the original Captain America, he has been aged for a while. The super soldier serum was pulled out of his body, so he now aged appropriately for himself, so he was now approximately 60 years old. A vivacious 60 years old, kind of an angsty 60 years old, but a 60-year-old man, right?
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. There is an event coming as of April where he gets his vitality back. He's going to be young Steve Rogers. And
Just
again,
in
it's
time
something
for
that you
Civil
get...
War.
He found
Sort of.
Viagra? What?
I knew someone would go there. God.
Steve, you don't have to be that vulgar. It was Cialis. But...
No, I don't have to be.
But here's the thing, is that we all knew that Steven Rogers was going to get his vitality back sooner or later. It's inevitable in comic books and because of fanboy rage. We all knew he was going to be Captain America again. But he's going to be Captain America without his shield.
Really?
Yeah,
Okay.
he's given the shield to Sam Wilson, who is still going to be... He's also going to be Captain America still, but because of the way the writers put it, since Steve gifted the shield, he's not going to say, "Okay, I'm good now, give it back." He meant it. He gave his shield. Now he's getting a new costume and a new shield. I don't know where it's coming from. I can only imagine he asked Mr. Stark for a favor. Take a look here, because here's a cover of Steve Rogers Captain America #1 with Sam Wilson on it, and he's getting
Going back to his old heater shield.
No, he didn't. That's not his original chevron. His original chevron he gave to Patriot during the early days of the Young Avengers comics. This is a brand new shield.
Yeah, and it's got some kind of like an energy V on the
Yeah,
bottom
the
there.
bottom.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that's like
it has a puncher on the bottom. Now, let's go through this really quickly here, because the costume he has on this new #1 here that also has the Winter Soldier and Sharon Carter on it is not a costume he's worn before. That's brand new as well. And it's also not a movie costume, so you can't say that the movies are affecting the comics. The comics, they're definitely taking their own spin on this at this point. Now, the thing is, though, the day after that story came out, I went digging for a little while more because I wanted to see more about this new costume. And I managed to find a story on Newsarama that had some concept art regarding Steve Rogers and his new shield. Take a look at this, because the shield comes in 2 pieces.
Woohoo! That looks awesome.
The bottom half of it not only has that energy blade coming off, but he can take off the smaller end of the chevron and use it like a puncher.
It's a
while
punching
still
dagger.
having the second. Yeah, it still has the larger part available for defense or offense.
That looks awesome.
This can radically change his fighting style now.
Yeah, it
would-
seems very dynamic.
Well, it would have to, because this shield is not made for, recumbent throwing like the discus shield is. This is definitely made for fighting.
Yeah, like hand to hand mostly, I'm sure. That's awesome.
Yeah. According to the new series writer Nick Spencer, quote, "Without spoiling too much of Standoff at this early date, something happens that restores Steve to full vigor, which will obviously greatly impact his own mission and his standing within the Marvel Universe. The biggest part of that, he's Captain America once again. The country is as divided as it's ever been. Steve is one of a kind. He's a unifying figure, someone we can all look up to, and someone we can all put our faith in. It's no secret that the Marvel Universe is about to enter a period of serious conflict with Civil War II looming on the horizon, and as such, it feels like the perfect moment to bring Steve back into fighting shape. It means we'll have 2 Captain Americas. When Steve handed the shield to Sam, it didn't come with any caveats. It's his. Steve respects and admires his old partner and what he's doing, and wants him to carry on. There are enough problems out there and enough bad guys to keep them both busy. They have very different missions. Sam will continue fighting the battles that no one else will go near, while Steve is faced with a resurgent threat from his past. Hydra is back, and stronger than ever, unquote.
Hail Hydra.
Jesse, kill him!
Hail Hydra.
Frick! Nobody's a member of AIM in this place. So, some of the April solicitations that come out in addition to Steve Rogers' Captain America, that included a teaser as to what's happening in All New, All Different Avengers, and it's a standoff tie-in. Avengers Standoff is this new Avengers event for the spring that we've heard little whispers about, but still are not very clear as to what's happening. And it has to do with the community of Pleasant Hill. Well, the teaser for All New, All Different Avengers number 8 has a very interesting synopsis attached to it. Quote, trapped in Pleasant Hill, the Avengers can't tell the heroes from the villains. And worse, they don't even recognize each other. How can the Avengers act like a team when they have no memory of one another? Unquote.
Oh, wow.
Interesting.
Yeah, now we all know this revolves around this mysterious Pleasant Hill community, and based on that synopsis, I'm starting to wonder. Remember, my original theory was that Pleasant Hill was some kind of weird supervillain retirement community. You know, someplace that nobody should go near because this is where they picked to stop doing it. Based on that synopsis, what if Pleasant Hill isn't a retirement community so much as a penal community? Someone puts people there, and as soon as they get there, they don't remember themselves. So they just pick up a different role in life.
Best way to keep criminals docile.
It would be. But that, I mean, if you think about it, though, that's a similar kind of moral quandary as what the Justice League did to, like, Dr. Light about 4 or 5 years ago.
Right.
By continuously wiping his memory. So we could have a similar quandary here. It's just a guess. A-Force, the new all-female team that debuted in Marvel Comics, I think about 2 or 3 weeks ago.
Mm-hmm.
Their number 1 just came out this month, and they're already getting a change in creative teams as of April.
Really?
Whoa, okay, that's fast. Wow.
It is. The writer for the Gem and the Holograms comic, Kelly Thompson, and Prez artist Ben Caldwell are coming on the book. Thompson was added to the series as a co-writer with the original series creator, G. Willow Wilson, the creator of the current Ms. Marvel. As of, I think, issue 5, A-Force is getting a new creative direction. Now, I sent you an image of the A-Force number 1 cover, which is pretty succinct, and it shows the primary 6 characters in the series. Sister Grimm, Dazzler from the X-Men, Captain Marvel, Medusa, Queen of the Inhumans, the She-Hulk is the team leader, and then you have Singularity, who was a new character spinning out of the Secret Wars. Okay?
Ooh, they all look awesome.
Okay, now I gave you that cover because that was their number 1. You know, it's interesting. It's a decent idea, I think, and it's carried over pretty well. We'll see if the fans follow it. Now, take a look at their creative changes when this new team takes over on the 5th. Not only do they get different costumes, this book looks completely different.
Whoa.
Okay.
Far more
that
anime.
Looks like fan art. That looks like fan art. That doesn't look... Wow. Okay.
And Dazzler's back to being a blonde.
Yeah.
Well, you can see several changes here. Dazzler's still punk, but she's more punk rock than punk emo.
Right.
Captain Marvel didn't change a whole lot, but there's not a lot to change there. Singularity looks more wispy. She-Hulk gets a costume that's much closer to her most popular or most well-known costume, but she actually has leggings this time around. Sister Grimm has gone much closer to original Runaways roots, and Medusa seems to have a variation on one of her more well-known costumes from her Fantastic Four days.
Right.
I mean, it looks good. It just looks so different. So different.
I mean, I like the original number 1,
actually.
but this new look is much more vivacious. It has a lot more energy and a lot more personality.
Yeah, it does. Yes, that is a very good way to put it. It has more personality. Definitely. Yeah.
Okay.
I'm wondering why She-Hulk is sitting there making that pose like she's drawing a bow.
I'm not sure. Maybe she was pulling Medusa's hair and needs to run very fast. I don't know. Okay, now, to lay this out for you, Elise, because I'm sure there's a lot of question marks here. Carol Danvers is the one in the blue and red. She is Captain Marvel. She is currently one of the more... She's a Paragon-type hero, super strength and vulnerability, flight, energy projection. Occasionally, when she draws enough energy into herself, she can gain a level of cosmic strength.
Okay.
Singularity is the new character on the block that everyone's learning about. Seems to have abilities of instant transmission, energy inversion, a little bit of transmutation, although that's kind of a sliding scale. She almost seems to be a living being of antimatter.
Oh, I like that.
Dazzler, the one that looks like she's got her fingers in the gun up there.
Mm-hmm.
She converts sound into light energy, and she's recently learned how to do hard light energy, so she can create light constructs now.
Oh, that's neat.
That's not quite as neat as her original costume.
Singer.
She was a disco singer.
Yeah.
What? Excuse me?
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh,
With
my
silver lame outfit, blue face paint, disco ball roller skates.
Bell bottoms, the
Holy
whole works.
Yeah. And a Farrah
my
Fawcett haircut.
Yep.
Oh my! You're kidding! Oh my god, that's
a
so...
little bit of history. Dazzler. No, you don't understand. Dazzler was originally created not as an X-Man. She was created as a cross-promotional superhero. A record company hired Marvel to create a superhero based on music and disco that they could market on records.
Oh, okay.
Only in a change of writing in the 80s did they change her into a mutant and made her an X-Man.
Okay.
She-Hulk, everybody knows, lawyer, super cousin of the original Hulk, Bruce Banner, had a blood transfusion and gained Hulk-up powers.
Yeah.
All of the strength, none of the rage, basically.
Yeah, if you're curious what Dazzler looked like originally, I put a link in Skype.
Yeah, I'll check it right now because that is hilarious and I need to see it. Because if it's actually done well, I might like it. Oh, boy. Okay, let's see. You're going to get a first-hand reaction here. Oh, load, but...
That's very close.
Oh, that's not terrible. I mean, it's not great, but holy crap. I like her hair. But, yeah, that's about as shiny as I imagined it would be.
Well, let's see. Pushing on here, Medusa is Queen of the Inhumans. She, as her name implies, all that red hair is prehensile. It's also as strong as steel.
I'm okay with that. I want that hair. Oh my god.
It makes me wonder what it's like when she has to trim her bikini line. That must be frightening.
A true man.
Venus flytrap. And last up is Sister Grimm, one of the Runaways that was created about, like 15 years ago. She is magic in nature. She inherited a magic artifact from her supervillain parents called the Staff of One. It has an interesting power and drawback. She can create any spell using it once she causes herself to bleed. However, she can only cast each spell once, and then it can never be cast again.
Oh, wow, okay.
So that makes her... Yeah, that means that she has to use her power sparingly, but when she does, it's usually to extreme effect.
Yeah, she's like your ace in the hole. That's awesome. I like that these powers seem a bit more unique than what I guess we have seen from what I've seen from... Well,
A-Force originally started as a spin-off book from the recent event, the Secret Wars, but it had such a fan interest, they decided to make it an ongoing. So right now, the regular series just started early this month.
Yeah, it looks really good so far. I like the art. I like what I'm hearing about it. I might actually pick this one up. For real. That's awesome.
Pushing on, you remember how we talked about China as becoming a major movie market?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Apparently, Marvel and Disney would like to make it a comic market, too. C.B. Cebulski, their creative talent director, he is relocating to Shanghai to work out of Disney's local offices. He's currently acting as our vice president of international business development and brand management. He said on Facebook, quote, "I've recently agreed to spearhead efforts to further manage and develop Marvel's brand in Asia. It's the natural extension of what I've been doing already, except moving forward. I won't be on as many long-haul flights. You see, I'm relocating." As Marvel has grown, so has the positions for me and many other people within this organization. We've gone from making comic books to managing a global phenomenon, unquote.
Oh, that is awesome. We're going worldwide.
If they manage to open up that market, that'll be huge.
Well, they've already started, if you remember.
Think about that.
Yeah, if you remember, Steve, they already started when they hired that guy who created the Silver Fox.
Oh, that's true.
There was a Korean manhwa artist who had an Avengers parody series. He had it with like the movie style Avengers, but he also added his own individual character called the Silver Fox, lady with silver hair and a tail and this unitard type outfit. Mm-hmm. After they hired him, they also bought the rights to the Silver Fox. She appeared recently in one of the first issues of Deadpool post Secret Wars.
Oh, really?
Okay, that sounds awesome.
Yeah. So they're already starting trying to cultivate talent from Asia.
Yeah. And there's a lot of talent over there too, like for real. A lot of unexposed talent. And that's just awesome. I love that they're actually expanding into other countries more, especially Asia. Asia has always been very, very open to new art and new styles, and this seems like it could be really good. Personally.
Well, it doesn't mean they stopped with the local talent, because they've hired David Walker to write and Sanford Green to do the arts and covers for the new Power Man and Iron Fist series due out in February 17th of this year.
I've never heard of them. Have they worked on anything big that I might know of?
Not that I know personally, but Power Man and Iron Fist have been a duo in Marvel Comics since the 70s. The synopsis reads, quote, "We know you've been waiting to see Luke Cage and Danny Rand back together to street stomping basics. Power Man and Iron Fist are tracking a mystery with all the ingredients of a classic Heroes for Hire tale. Expect old friends, hired goons, crime lords, weird magic, plenty of power, a flurry of fists, and as much bromance as you can handle. It's Power Man and Iron Fist reunited, and writer David Walker and artist Sanford Green are making it feel so good," unquote.
So good. That's awesome.
You need to watch Jessica Jones. Luke Cage is in that series.
Yep.
Oh, yeah, I'd love to. Like I said, I'm definitely watching that one. It sounds awesome.
Okay. Let me ask you this. Are you aware of the new Thor?
Vaguely. All I know is that new Thor. That's all I know. That's literally it.
Jane Foster has taken over as the Goddess of Thunder. Her identity is secret to all Marvel heroes. She hasn't told anybody that Mjolnir has picked her to be the new Goddess of Thunder. But every time she picks up the hammer, she gets a new body, new costume, so nobody can tell it's her. And Adam Hughes is actually Adam Hughes, who is a well-known bodacious artist. He's doing an alternative variant cover to Mighty Thor #4. Holy crap. This is one of those things that's just gorgeous enough to make me pick up, just so I can get it signed. And like I said, Adam Hughes, he usually does bodacious females. He does a lot of pinup style art.
Mm-hmm.
There is nothing about this cover that screams pinup. Look at this thing. It is Thor coming through the lightning and spewing lightning. Yeah, Thor coming through a storm, spewing lightning as she just flies through a thunderhead.
I love
she's coming in for a fight.
Yeah, that's so...
She's coming in to end a fight.
Yeah, look at that. That's awesome. She's like, you can kind of see the power in that. That is amazing. That is some good art.
That is a lady that's coming in screaming, "I said double drip latte!"
Next time, order the decaf.
Yeah, but so you're aware, though, Jane Foster has actually found out things about Mjolnir that Thor Odin's son never knew.
Well, she probably asked.
No, she didn't. Out of reflex. You know how Thor always threw that hammer and recalled it?
Uh-huh.
She can make it change direction midair.
Aha.
Like, oh, wow. That's strong.
So she actually throws it and she can command it to change direction.
That is really, really cool. That's new. I like that.
It is. And last up in Marvel comic news, what's old is new again, and screw the people on the internet because I want to see this. They started with a teaser that was all shadows except for this one character nobody could recognize. And on top of it was a variation on a tagline that a lot of long-standing Marvel fans would know. Injustice like lightning. I take it you guys don't know that one because I imagine I'm the only one that read that series at all.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
Probably.
Okay, the original tagline for the series was Justice like lightning. As you can see, they only changed it by adding 2 letters that kind of changes the meaning of the series, right?
Mm-hmm.
The tagline Injustice like lightning is being attributed to the next iteration of the Thunderbolts.
Okay.
The Thunderbolts, because I'm sure Elise is scratching her head, the Thunderbolts originally were Avengers villains called the Masters of Evil who disguised themselves as superheroes. And they decided that they were going to stop crime for a short time to give them an opportunity to rob things. But what they found out was that the vast majority of them liked being superheroes.
Oh, wow. That's different. And I like different.
But what's old is new again, because with the exception of one character, 4 out of 6 of the characters that are being in this new Thunderbolts are all original Thunderbolts. Former Avenger villain The Beetle, who is now Mach 5. Former Avenger villain Moonstone, who is now Meteorite. Former Avenger villain The Fixer, who is Techno. And former Avenger villain Goliath, who is now Atlas, are all back on the team.
Goliath?
Yeah, there was an evil Goliath, Eric Johnson. He is now Atlas. There's another character that looks like a young girl, kind of ethereal and blue and white, nobody recognizes, but here's the weird part that's going to make this very different and makes me wonder why they changed the tagline. The original team leader for the Thunderbolts was Citizen 5, who was Baron Zemo, one of Captain America's villains in disguise. Okay?
Okay.
That is not possible this time because the new team leader of the Thunderbolts is a man known as the Winter Soldier.
Really?
Bucky Barnes is now leading the Thunderbolts. So that makes me wonder, when they change the tagline to Injustice Like Lightning, does that mean that the Thunderbolts are now going undercover as villains again, or are they just doing Marvel's dirty Black Ops now?
Wow.
Could be either
Could
one.
be both?
But I would really like it to be number 1.
I know. I'm so curious about all of this, and I know a lot of people are complaining that, oh my god, they're bringing it back again, I liked it before, and all this other stuff. Me, I just saw that and went, oh yeah, I could read that.
It sounds good. It sounds cool.
I like a good redemption story, and that's what the Thunderbolts is based on. You know, just about every iteration has to do with villains at some point trying to make a decision as to, not necessarily go good, but whether or not they still want to get their asses kicked on such a regular basis.
Yeah, I've noticed that with villains, they tend to get their asses kicked. And, I mean, heroes too, but villains get it a little bit worse. And that can be fun. And if you're having doubts about that, it's really cool that they, I don't know, it kind of makes them seem more realistic, in a sense, to me.
Human?
I'll tell you what, here's the last teaser they introduced that had everyone's face on it, and I would really like to see this. Half the characters have been redesigned in one form or another.
The Techno, Mach 5, Atlas.
The one in blue and white is brand new. Nobody recognizes her.
And who? What's this chick with the bird nose?
That's Moonstone or Meteorite.
Ah, okay.
They look awesome. I keep saying that, but it's true. They do. Yeah, I like it.
I would like to know what the story behind this is. I'm looking forward to it. All right, from there we go into DC comic news, and the first story there is a bit of a throwback. Harley Quinn, as of April 6th, is getting another one-shot special, which is not entirely new in DC Comics. As one of their more popular characters recently, they're really pushing her. But this one is called Harley Quinn and the Suicide Squad April Fool Special number 1.
April Fool?
Yeah, it's coming out April 6th of this year. The synopsis is, quote, Dr. Harleen Francis Quinzel, MD, welcomes you to Evil Anonymous, the support group for supervillains in need, where no problem is too insane or homicidal and where discretion is assured as only a clown princess of crime can, which is to say, not at all. But when Harley Quinn starts using her patient's own evil schemes against them, it turns out that a much bigger, far more dangerous, and truly life-altering joke is being played on her, unquote. Now, it sounds fairly typical for a Harley Quinn story these days. The writer on it is Rob Williams, but what got my eye was the fact that there's 3 artists on this book. Scott Williams, Sean Galloway, and a man who kind of redefined comics in the 90s, Jim Lee.
Oh, you got like a man crush on him, man.
Well,
hey,
Jim
you know
Lee
what,
did...
though? Jim Lee recreated the X-Men that I am familiar with, so yeah, man crush is entirely understandable, I think.
He didn't just recreate the X-Men, he redefined comics in the late 80s, early 90s. He has this very bizarre style that comes through today, even as kind of part Japanese, part American. He knows how to do his men burly but lanky. He knows how to do women sexual but not sexualized. You know, he crosses a lot of different areas, and he very rarely offends anybody. As a matter of fact, he did the cover to this book, and this is the kind of cover that you could have made into a poster, and it works on multiple different levels. As a matter of fact, I will send it to you guys so you can take a look, simply because it's amazing, really, what he did in this book.
All right, I'm looking forward to seeing it. I've never even heard of him, so I mean, I'm sorry. I'm really sorry, but I've never heard of him.
It's okay. This is the guy responsible for the orange and blue Jean Grey outfit, Storm Silver outfit, redesigns of Colossus and Wolverine.
Oh,
I mean, this Harley Quinn is an interesting book because it looks like her in her roller derby outfit with this red, like 1980s army helmet. Interesting
with night vision goggles on it.
Night vision goggles, a submachine gun, and it looks like she's trying to take a selfie.
Yep. After somebody just opened fire on her.
It's
and
so cute. I
she's
like her
obviously
little
shooting
Joker.
back.
Well, it looks like somebody shredded a bunch of plushies based on the Justice League and the Joker.
Yeah, I like
Joker's safe.
That's funny.
He's got a really interesting, dynamic style without being stupid in a lot of respects.
Yeah, it looks awesome. I like the stylized, like her face. And
I love the fact that Flash lost a leg, Batman lost his head and a leg.
Yeah, the Green Lantern didn't lose his ring hand, though.
No.
Yeah, I assume that in this picture he's attempting like a duck face selfie.
Oh my god, the duck face. I can imagine her making duck faces just to piss people off.
Yeah. Also in DC Comics, in 1993, they had a crossover called The Bloodlines. Apparently in 2016, they're taking another shot at it. As of April 6th, also coming out is Bloodlines #1, known as Hostile Takeover. It's being written by J.T. Krull, and the art's being done by V. Ken Marion. The synopsis is, quote, when a meteor crashes to Earth, bringing with it an unspeakable alien presence that terrorizes a nearby small town, the lucky ones die first. As for the rest, they find themselves locked in a hellish struggle for control of their bodies and their minds. This isn't just an invasion, it's an infestation. What would you do if the greatest threat to humanity was hidden away inside you, unquote? I mean, maybe I'm too old, but that sounds like a rehash of Invasion of the Body Snatchers crossed with, like, the Japanese show Parasite.
Oh! Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, I suppose it... I mean, it's definitely been done before, but, you know, I don't know what other unique things they could have thrown in.
Yeah, there aren't too many original ideas left, and that sounds like really shit, but... Or not like...
Well,
not like shit, but... I mean, there are things that they could have done differently, maybe?
Well, I'm not crapping on the idea, because J.T. Krull is an award-winning writer who's worked on Teen Titans, Green Arrow, and Journey. And V. Ken Marion has recently been working for Aspen Comics on All New Soulfire and Journey. And, you know, I don't know the writer per se, but I got to say that V. Ken Marion's art style, he's got some things to crow about, frankly. He's got an interesting style.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Loving the angle. I mean, that sounds dirty considering what's in the middle of the picture, but it's great.
I don't know. You could have meant a bunch of things, considering you either got Big Blue Package in your face or Hot Pants McGee over there.
Cried. Well, either way, it's a fun night. So.
Yeah, except considering what's coming out of her arms, I'd hate to see what's coming out of her for JJ, frankly.
Oh, Lord.
And last, when it comes to DC comic news, they put up a teaser that has a lot of people groaning, and there's reasons for and against it. DC co-publishers Dan Didio and Jim Lee tweeted out an image that is just a blue curtain with white letters across it that say Rebirth. Word is this is not another reboot of the DC universe. What apparently is going on is that sometime in April or May, possibly June, there's going to be a relaunch event happening where they put out a new set of number ones for a lot of their comics.
Okay. That's not so bad.
It depends on how they do it. I know Marvel's done it a lot recently, but their number ones have to do basically when large story arcs in their comics end and they want to start again. You know, it's not ending the story so much as creating a new point where a bunch of people say, ooh, new number one, and buy it, you know?
Right.
I don't know where DC's writers end on this because it's like the difference in their events about how Secret Wars is handled versus Convergence and things like that. So I don't know. And Jim Lee does have a habit of kind of raising the ground and starting over again when things are not going the way he likes it.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know necessarily what all this means. I'm going to be guardedly hopeful, but history hasn't been fun for me in that respect. Okay, stepping forward into general comic and convention news. We talk about comics that aren't Marvel and DC related, as well as news from conventions that we get from around the world, because interesting things happen. And it's past the first of the year, which means this is the time that the news for San Diego Comic-Con starts to ramp up.
Mm-hmm.
We've already had one level of guests. They've already announced the second wave of guests for Comic-Con 2016.
Wow.
They've added Jason Aaron, who's the writer on Scalped, Star Wars, and Thor. They've added Kate Beaton, who's the writer and artist on Step Aside, Pops Hark, and A Vagrant. Paul Gulacy, the artist on Master of Kung Fu, Six from Sirius, and Catwoman. And Patrick Rothfuss, the author of Name of the Wind and The Wise Man's Fear. Now, you got to remember this is important because every guest they announce not only is going to be at Comic-Con, but they also get their own spotlight panels hosted at Comic-Con.
Right.
So you get a chance to see all these individuals and ask them direct questions during the course of the convention. And last year, I think there were 8 or 9 waves of guests at 4 people a wave. There's 36 or 40 guests that come. So, I mean, it
sounds amazing. I've never been.
Do you want to try to get into this year? Because we're making arrangements.
I would love to. I really would.
Well, we'll have to have a conversation.
Yes, please.
Okay. Well, that's not the only news that Comic-Con International put out. However, a lot of the other news has to do with the upcoming WonderCon for, I think it's March 27th this year. They're actually going to have... Yeah, they're already inviting artists. People are announcing that they are headed to the 1 year that this is in Los Angeles. However, Funko has announced that there will be new Funko Pops there. Oh, boy.
Yeah. Well, from what I remember, WonderCon has a really big guest list.
WonderCon is announced, I think, 6 waves of 4 guests, so there's 24 individual guests, but WonderCon is not as panel-intensive as Comic-Con is.
No, that's true.
It tends to be more all-encompassing, let alone they're in this building that they've never been in before, and they only plan on being there this year, as far as I know.
Yeah, you were talking about that. Okay. Yeah,
it's going to be a huge curiosity to see how it's received, because I know people in my travels that go to WonderCon on a regular basis who heard it's going to the Los Angeles Convention Center in 2016, and about half of them said, screw it, it's not worth it, not going.
Yeah. But I have to say, because I went last year to the Anaheim one, and they ran a great show. But I think they've been there for a little while.
Yeah, that was their 3rd or 4th consecutive year in Anaheim. They really knew the building. I mean, I trust Comic-Con International after going to WonderCon and Comic-Con. They know how to put on a show. I do trust them to know what they're doing. However, they've never dealt with the staff at the Los Angeles Convention Center. They've never dealt with the logistics of the Los Angeles Convention Center. Do I think they can put on a great show? I still think they can, but I think they will be challenged nearly every step of the way.
Yes, they will. I hate that convention center. I really do. After years, I've been going since 2006 to Anime Expo and staying in a hotel and actually attending the entire con since 2008. And I know those staff. They are ridiculous. So I think WonderCon, from your description, is a really fantastic con, but I might hold off on attending until they're back in a different convention center.
Well, they only signed the 1-year contract in 2016 because the Anaheim Convention Center started a renovation and expansion late last year.
Yeah, you showed me that. That's awesome.
Yeah. So, the building should be ready by next WonderCon.
You should go just to see the hotel we just specially picked out for when we had to do a convention in LA.
Hey, I never said I wasn't going to WonderCon, and I never said I didn't have a room already under my damn thumb. I am all set to go, and if WonderCon stinks this year, I know exactly where I'm going to end up. My feet in the fridge, eating a pint of ice cream, watching the second season of Daredevil in my hotel room, okay?
Have fun with that.
Yeah.
Abso-frackin-lutely, man. But there is one more piece of Comic-Con related news. We don't know when open registration is yet, and obviously we won't know that until just before it's going to happen. But we do know that the hotel sale for Comic-Con is scheduled for April 5th.
Day after my mom's birthday.
April 5th, at 9 a.m., the hotel lottery opens.
Okay.
Which means
what weekday is that?
That's
Saturday
usually,
again?
Yeah, hotel sales always happen on Tuesdays at 9 a.m.
Why does it have to be a Tuesday?
Who knows? But
so far, actually,
I could maybe help out with that, but not if it goes for too long because I need to go to sleep because I got to be at work.
Well, it doesn't go too long because if you recall, the Comic-Con hotel lottery is not a lottery so much as first one finished is first one processed.
True. Okay.
So it's all about how fast.
With that.
It's all about how fast you type. Now we've had a good record on this show when it comes to Comic-Con. We've actually gotten our first hotel picks 2 years in a row.
Yeah. Yeah, that was actually pretty sweet. Which one are we trying to go to this time?
That's actually a conversation I think we need to have next weekend. Since we'll all be in one room, because when you pick hotels for Comic-Con, you can pick up to 6 in order that you'd like to visit, and if you're fast enough, you'll get one of those 6.
Right.
So we need to actually have that conversation because while I have nothing against the Marriott Marquis and Marina, the San Diego Convention Center is so well situated, and with the impeccable, and I use that word very rarely, impeccable shuttle service that Comic-Con has, there are very few places that are bad to stay at.
Right. And I think we've been I enjoyed last year, but also I enjoyed the year before. So, if we just keep hitting new hotels, it'll give us something to talk about.
Absolutely. I got a couple ideas, but I want to bounce them off you guys because, this is also the first year that the three of us actually have a full set of 4 days.
Yeah. It's going to be nice.
Yeah.
I don't have to wait till Sunday.
Okay. Now the next.
You guys can all make it. That's really cool because I know work has been an issue in scheduling and all that, so it's really awesome that you can all go.
We'll have a conversation because there's a situation going where we might be able to get you through with a better than average chance. But again, it'll be a conversation. Now, the next bit of comic news is IDW related, and it's going to matter most to Jesse.
Okay, I already know what the topic's going to be.
Okay, go ahead.
No, I was saying I'm just seeing what the topic's going to be. I had no idea what the story is.
Okay. The comic coming out as of, I think, later this month is Sin of the Wreckers #3. It's a Transformers story.
Oh, okay.
The interesting thing.
Direction.
Okay, the interesting thing is, though, is that they're developing the story on the current IDW version of the backstory of Prowl. It turns out that in the preview of this comic, it's revealed that Prowl went in disguise as a bomber to foster a more military reaction by the Autobots just so he could get his agenda pushed forward, which is an interesting story. He's a soldier
he faked terrorism.
Essentially, yes. He did it under the order of a robot named Mesothulus, who was apparently the guy who came up with the bomb, gave it to him, sent him on his way and all that. Now, according to the preview in Sins of the Wreckers 3, he comes across Mesothulus again, who has him tied up. And Mesothulus is in a form that Prowl is extremely unfamiliar with, because it's not a plane, it's not a car, it's not a truck. It has 8 legs.
Is that Tarantulas?
That's it. Mesothulus has changed his name to Tarantulas. They're telling the origin story of Tarantulas in Sins of the Wreckers.
Oh, okay. I am really interested now.
Yeah, it was just a 5-page preview, and the robot form of Tarantulas kind of looks like his transmetal form with more hair on the exterior.
Ooh.
So they're actually converging the backstories. I mean, I can't imagine that it's a coincidence that this year is the 20th anniversary of the Beast Wars. But I gotta credit IDW. They're finding they're finding really interesting ways to tie all this together without actually being the people who created the backstory. So go figure, right?
Mm-hmm.
This week in Star Wars comics, they actually revealed the reason why Uncle Owen did not like Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Oh, I want to hear this.
Yeah.
Well, Obi-Wan, after the Clone Wars went belly up in his face, he, of course, went into hiding on Tatooine. He gave, young baby Luke to Owen and Beru to raise. But he didn't leave them alone. It turns out Obi-Wan was attempting to be like a friendly watcher of the family. And Owen just kind of wanted him to go away because, after all, it was Obi-Wan and his master that took, young Anakin away, got his sister kind of in a twist after she was married. Yeah, got his adopted sister in a twist, got her eventually killed, got Anakin Skywalker technically killed. So he wants nothing to do with this man, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Not the most rational thing, but a pretty human response, I'd say.
Yeah.
However, again, Obi-Wan would not leave his family alone. Owen started to recognize that a bunch of families were being hit by Tusken Raiders, but their family was fine. Jawas would come and give them better prices for reasons he couldn't quite understand. It seemed like his family was doing relatively peacefully while a lot of the other families in the area were having the natural troubles on Tatooine. And, Obi-Wan would even find parts to things that Luke was either working on or Owen was trying to fix and leave boxes of them scattered in different areas on Owen's land.
Oh, that's going to look bad with the community.
That's exactly the problem he was running into. He was doing unnaturally well, and everyone noticed that he was doing unnaturally well. And all this was coming from a guy Owen didn't like in the first place.
Yeah.
Which is why by the time
on their back.
Yeah, that's why by the time A New Hope comes around, Obi-Wan is just this kind of hermit. And you notice the one time that Luke Skywalker or Mark Hamill mentions his name in the movie, Owen has that weird bristle to his voice all of a sudden.
Yeah.
He knows the man, and he hates him.
Honestly, it's not terribly surprising, but wow, okay. That's okay.
Well, this is one of those weird advantages to Disney buying a comic book company in that not only did they manage to bring in a new set of characters for them to monetize, I mean, let's be realistic, they did this for money more than anything else, but now that they've bought the Star Wars franchise on top of it, they now have a ready-made set of writers to expand on the mythos.
I only recently got into Star Wars, really. Like, I thought it for years, because I've had some friends who are a little bit beyond obsessed. Like, every sentence out of their mouth was about Star Wars, and I couldn't handle it, so I avoided it. And now that I'm actually watching the movies, I'm really enjoying it. So this, knowing that things are developing, that's awesome.
You don't understand, young lady. Because of the work we do on this show, I met the guy who drew in the original 1980 Star Wars comics and talked to him about his work.
What?
And he admitted he hated his own work. So, this whole revival thing was interesting because now that Star Wars is back as a Marvel property, it has been one of the top-selling books of the last year, and it only came out last year.
Oh my god.
So this is huge. But when it comes to independent characters in comics, probably one of the bigger stories of the last 6 months was the revival of Xena.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I heard about that.
Supposed to be getting a new show, but not only is she getting a new show, she's getting a new comic. And because of the people at IO9, there was actually a new look at the first art for this new comic book revival of the property. I'm not familiar with the artist himself, but this art style, I am digging this. It's done by Ariel Medel.
Oh, I like it.
I've seen this before, this art style before.
I don't know what
it's okay. It's okay for me.
I don't have any information on Medel. The series is going to follow Xena and Gabrielle 25 years after the event of the Twilight of the Gods arc in the TV show.
So is that Gabrielle's kids there? Well, probably don't know.
Well, yeah, they didn't expand on the story. I just know that they came back to a resurging Roman Empire. And that could be that could be a serious problem, considering that the story of Xena is within the Greek pantheon, so they could be returning to their lands during the period where the Greek Empire came to its final days.
Right.
Oh, yeah. I grew up with Xena.
Good place for a warrior princess.
Yeah. Dang.
Well, actually, there's a little bit, kind of a clipped image also of the cover of the book. And, if this is all indicative of the art style, even if it's just a black and white book, I would like to check this out.
Yeah.
Ooh. I can dig it. Oh, that's some pretty art.
Yeah. Mark Waid. Holy cow, Mark Waid. He is part of a new publishing company called Aftershock, and he's teaming up with I think an artist, Tom Payer, for work on a new series called Captain Kidd. Oh no, it's a co-writer, I'm sorry. No artist or artwork has been revealed, but Captain Kidd is supposed to be, quote, tells the story of a middle-aged comics fan who transforms into a teen superhero, unquote.
Is this the one where he gets, he was teased and then he gets superpowers?
No, you're thinking of the Superior series
over
in
I am. Okay.
Mark Miller's comics, not Mark Waid. Waid, if you remember, was the guy who wrote one of those surprise comics that we all enjoyed, Empire.
Oh, damn.
Ooh.
So, one of Aftershocks editors, Aaron Marion, asked the question, if it happened to you, would you ever change back?
Oh.
Interesting.
So remember, Superior was about a young comics fan who transformed into the body of his favorite superhero.
Right.
This character, Captain Kidd, is about a middle-aged comics fan who transforms into a teen superhero. Very different dynamic here.
Oh yes. Imagine the psychology there, oh my gosh, that sounds good.
Imagine being a middle-aged butterball who's gone past his midlife crisis and suddenly finds himself in the body of a teenager. Holy crap, if I had my brain in a teen body, something would be busted.
No,
not to mention just, you've gotten past all the hormones. You've gotten used to them. Then you're kind of thrust right back into them again. Yeah, no.
God, yeah, true. Because that's a physical thing. That's not necessarily, a mind. That's physical. Those are glands and brain work.
That would also be a very mental thing, because that was a period where I was juggling 8-pound bowling balls for fun, so.
Oh, God. Oh, I can't do that. I have wimpy little noodle arms. But really, that sounds like a really great plot. I'd read that. Absolutely.
Well, and a character that recently died in the Rebirth of Valiant comics, Ninjak, is coming back for a new story arc called The Siege of King's Castle.
Huh.
It's going to be a new April storyline where the character is back at home and back to basics. The Siege of King's Castle will see Colin King defend himself against a woman who is critical to his origin, Roku. She doesn't want his money, his prestige, or his oh-so-imaginative gadgets. She wants vengeance. mixed on that.
Yeah, I
That
wasn't a
doesn't
big
sound
fan of his
like
character
I would-
originally. They'd have to show me something really unique to get me to...
Yeah. And last up, when it comes to general comic news, it's very comics related. The Podfather has a new comic coming out.
Okay.
The Podfather is the kind of the nickname I refer to as Kevin Smith.
Right.
You know, the guy who was kind of the impetus for me starting the show. He has like a bunch of different podcasts of his own on Smodcast. He actually has a new movie coming out, which he calls the second of his Great White North trilogy, that stars his daughter and Johnny Depp's daughter as convenience stores clerks in Canada. The movie's called Yoga Hosers. And as of
That's actually pretty interesting.
Well, not only that, but because the movie is apparently doing well at Sundance and the initial screenings have done well, it's been announced it's getting a comic book companion series.
Well, I know that Kevin Smith can write some comics, so this should also be interesting.
Well, would you like the story that this comic is based on?
Sure.
According to a January 20 press release, quote, the film centers on teenage yoga fanatics Colleen Collette and Colleen McKenzie, played by both Smith's daughter Harley Quinn Smith and actor Johnny Depp's daughter Lily Rose Depp. When an ancient evil rises from beneath Manitoba convenience store to release an army of monsters and threatening their attendance to a senior party, the two join forces with legendary manhunter from Montreal named Guy Lapointe, unquote.
Oh, okay. Oh my God.
I did not realize that he named his daughter Harley Quinn.
Yeah, actually,
He's a
I
big
will.
Harley Quinn fan.
No, I will get into that later because, believe it or not, that wasn't his idea.
Oh,
really?
Okay.
Yeah, we'll get into that.
All right.
All right, and last up, we have our WTF corner. We talk about those stories from across the internet that just make you want to stand up in front of your monitor and go, "What in the blue hell is happening?" And because it's WTF, what do we always start with?
Videos.
Oh, yes.
Video game videos. We talk about the incredible plays or the unbelievable glitches that just it makes you want to buy another monitor because you've accidentally put your controller through it. And the first video, we're going to start in a place I usually don't start. Metal Gear Solid 5: The Phantom Pain.
Okay.
The first video came from a user that apparently doesn't make a lot of videos, Matthew Thomas. He just put his name on his YouTube channel. And the title of the video is, it's better than you think, because it's called MGS5 Diving Holdup.
Okay.
Yeah.
I got some ideas running through my head.
Yeah, I'm sure, but I sent the video. Okay, so there's Snake climbing a tower.
Okay.
Do the right shield.
There you sneak him up on a guy and subdues him. Although it looked like he was dry humping his back.
Yeah, I noticed that.
But that's not the story. He just got rid of the body. Now you see that guy on the other side of the fence with the scanner?
Yep.
Uh-huh.
This is amazing. Watch this. Dives between the legs and pulls a gun.
Oh my God. And he went through one of his legs. That was so
Yeah, and this guy just said, screw it, that was too awesome. I give up. Take whatever you want, man. I've never seen anything like it.
he like bowed before
Down on the ground? Fine. Down on the ground. Take my wallet. I don't care. Don't kick me in the skull.
Okay, that was kind of cool.
That was really cool. Dove between his legs, yanked a gun on him, and do that to Bruce Willis. I would pay money to see somebody do that to Bruce Willis.
Oh my God. I want it.
But I have another video from MGS5, and this one doesn't have to do with Snake so much as it has to do with his partner. Do you remember that? I'm sorry, that's not Snake in this game, it's Big Boss. Big Boss had a partner in this game. This video came from the channel of Andrew Seabrook, Seabrook. And he titled this video, D-Dog Knows Best.
Oh boy.
I sent the video. Okay, there's Big Boss sneaking up on a ridge.
Sneaking.
Lots of targets.
Yeah, lots of stuff around there. You see that guy on the ridge?
Yep.
Yeah.
He doesn't know what's coming. Coming right up on him. Let me call Fido. Hey, come back here. Hey, don't push him off the cliff, you dick dog.
No! Puppy!
Okay.
Okay.
The dog ran over and shoved his ass off the cliff.
I was gonna say, is he gonna do push him off the cliff? No, the dog's gonna do it.
I really thought the dog fell off the cliff. Oh my god, that's so great. Oh my god.
Well, the next video is actually from a game I'm not sure I've actually used on this show before. Actually, now I'm positive I haven't. It's a Rainbow Six Siege game.
Really? Okay. Yeah, well, it just started coming out, so yeah.
Okay. Well, this video came from the channel of Eduardo Romero. Sounds like a swarthy man. But this video probably won't involve a whole lot of glitches because he titled his video Rainbow Six Siege 4 Awesome Clutch Kills.
Oh.
Yeah, he's thrown down the gauntlet. But I sent the video. Okay, he's throwing a flashbang. Oh, through smoke, okay. He threw a grenade, watch this. Boom! Killed the fourth. And he just killed all the enemies.
Wow. Yeah, he C4'd the guy with the riot shield.
Yeah, the shockwave knocked the other guy away, and then he just gunned down the last one.
Yeah, that's what I call a clutch win.
Yeah. I mean, he was perfectly surrounded, too. And if it wasn't for the shockwave of that C4, he might have been completely screwed, but he pulled it out.
Yeah.
So, you gotta give him credit, man. He made it. Now, this one I know I have not done on this show before. Remember the Lord of the Rings game, Shadow of Mordor?
Yes.
Yes.
Don't see a lot of interesting videos come out of that, but this one came off the channel of Horizoniki, Horizoniki. And he titled his video, Uruk bails the hunt with his head off.
Okay.
Now, let me set this up for a minute before you go crazy. When you're in the game, you can hunt down gang leaders, right? In specific missions. If you take care of the gang leader, you get a level up and you diminish the armies of the bad guys.
Correct.
Sometimes when you scare the piss out of the generals bad enough, they will order retreat. That's what you need to know when you watch this video, and I sent it. Okay, there's the hero fighting. There's the general, too. And took his head off.
Yep.
But the body just got up.
Wait, what?
Yeah. Oh my god.
Wait, it gets better, because you see he just got the status increase,
successful.
right? And then the body's retreating. He's signaling retreat.
God. He's booking it.
I love the fact that the general even yelled, before it's too late, and you're just staring at the stump of his neck.
Oh my god.
And now he just fell over dead.
Oh my god.
Okay.
I did enjoy that game. I need to go back and finish it.
Could you imagine being an orc in that army, though? You're just staring at this, and he just hit him so hard, his body forgot he was headless.
He's talking out of his neck stump. What the hell?
Do I run or do I clap, man? Because that's awesome. All right, and there's one more video game video. And I know we've had a bunch of epic plays lately and maybe only one glitch out of what we've seen so far. But this qualifies as a ladder. It's a Halo 5 Guardians video.
Okay.
And it came from the user Dabob, D-A-B-O-B. And,
okay.
You know, when I read the title of this video, I was thinking of a song by Power Man 5000 because he titled it Halo 5 When Wraiths Collide.
Oh.
Yeah.
I might be too young for that one. I'm sorry.
It's okay. I sent the video. There he goes charging into the snowfield.
Going after Warden
Running
Eternal,
across.
looks like.
Yeah.
Welcome to Hoth.
Two rays, bam! And killed the drivers.
Okay.
That's pretty awesome, actually.
The title of the video definitely did not bury the lead, did it?
No, it didn't.
Just two rays, full
Kind of hoping it did, though.
Yeah, just two rays, bam, nose to nose, and the bodies come flying out of them.
I have
I
never
want you
seen
to
that
think
before.
about the physics there. Please do. It was so good.
This is why you do not drink in Wraith.
We call that a double fail?
Yeah. Call that definitely a Mom Against Drunk Driving ad.
We need bumper stickers everywhere.
No, you know what the problem is, Jesse? They were jerking and driving.
Jesse, is there something you want to tell us?
What? It was even in ice. You saw it. Now, remember, at the end of the general comic news, we were talking about yoga hosers and the fact that Kevin Smith's daughter is named Harley Quinn Smith.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I told you I would talk about her name because, believe it or not, he did not name her. The man is a long-standing Batman fan. He made no secret of this at all during any period of his professional life, but he did not name her. Do you want to know how she got that name?
How did she get that name?
Early on in the relationship between him and his wife, Jennifer, she wasn't pregnant at all. They were just still going through the motions of their early part of the relationship. I don't think they were married at this point, but she was taking a bubble bath, and as some women like to relax with books as they bathe, she couldn't find a lot to read, but she did find a Batman graphic novel, and she was flipping through it, and he was using the bathroom while she was in the bath. I don't think he was like taking a deuce or anything. He was just in there checking something and was on his way out. And as she was reading it, she said out loud while she was reading, Harley Quinn. And he turns around and says, yeah? And as she's flipping through the book, she says, that'd be a really great girl's name.
But it totally is. Like, out of context, think about it. It's a cute name. But then, you think about it as a comic fan, and it's like, oh.
Yeah, but that's how she was named Harley Quinn Smith. Now, this dovetails into another story because Harley Quinn is with her father right now at Sundance to preview Yoga Hosers.
Uh-huh.
It's the first actual screening of the movie for people who are looking to distribute, right?
Yeah, she's got to be on pins and needles.
Yeah. She only recently got into acting because of her work in Tusk, which led into Yoga Hosers, and now she'd like to do it more regularly. She's also said recently that she would like a chance to play her namesake in a movie if somebody would give her the opportunity.
Oh, that'd be so cool. Harley Quinn as herself.
Right. Now, this goes further into a story. Because of, Kevin Smith's connections and his interest in comic books, he was actually backstage at the set of The Suicide Squad.
Okay.
And he got a special gift for his daughter from the set of The Suicide Squad.
What was it? Oh, my God.
Well, tell me the prop that Harley Quinn used.
Not exactly. She's 16 years old right now. He gave her the bat Margot Robbie used in the movie, complete with the words "good night" written down it, and she bawled.
Oh, is there a video or anything? An article? I'd love to see that. Oh my God.
There is no video, although I'm sure that he probably took one because he films everything now that cell phones have these things. But there is an image of her holding the bat, crying with joy. Take a look at this.
Oh, look at her. Oh my God, she looks so happy.
Now, this actually came out on Harley's own Instagram feed, and it said, along with the picture, quote, Instagram will slowly just become pictures of me crying tears of joy. Today, the impossible became possible. My dad gave me Harley Quinn's bat from Suicide Squad with a certificate of authenticity. I'm not joking when I say I cried for an hour. Life is a beautiful, magical thing. I was coincidentally also wearing this sweater. One step closer to playing Harley Quinn. I will make you proud, Margot, unquote.
Oh my God. That is so awesome. Look at her.
It's amazing because when she was very young, she wasn't much like her dad. When she turned into an adolescent, she started playing in a band. She's a bassist. And then at some point, she stopped with music altogether and started getting more interested in acting, which is just dovetailed into her father's love of comic books. And it's kind of resurged his career because now he has an interest in directing again because it's his kid that wants to act.
Yeah. Oh, wow. That's really amazing. I like their relationship.
Yeah, he often calls his daughter the best thing that ever came out of his balls.
Well, that's one way to put it, and it's not true.
He also says if you want to have a fun texting relationship, get into a texting relationship with a 16-year-old girl. It's magical. Then he usually adds the caveat, make it a 16-year-old girl you already know, please.
Yes.
Too true. Oh, wow. I like him. I've always liked his work. That's awesome.
Now, do you guys remember we talked a couple weeks ago about the care packages that the Oregon militia members who have taken over that shack have been getting?
Yes.
They have unfortunately, they've asked for snacks and food because they didn't plan this very well, and a bunch of people are sending them dildos.
No.
I'm not kidding. Well, their plight has not been unheard. because Cards Against Humanity sent them a care package as well.
Oh, God.
I thought they're the ones that sent them the dildos.
No, it was actually random people who've been sending them dildos instead of power bars, which the militiamen hated. They haven't released a statement on what the actual Cards Against Humanity, and this came directly from Cards Against Humanity's website of what they sent them. They haven't complained about it, so I can only imagine it's being put to good use. They sent them 55 gallons of lubricant.
What? Oh my God. Okay. Your favorite
I got
company.
This is literally on cardsagainsthumanity.com. The story reads, quote, the Oregon militia requested supplies after they took over a federal building in the Malheur National Wildlife Refuge. Probably not on their wish list was this 55-gallon drum of personal lubricant that is on Amazon, but they are getting it. The lube has a rating of 4 out of 5 stars from 329 reviews, and they are a riot to read. Here's a product description as follows. What are you going to do with all this lube? Wrestling match? Biggest adult party ever? If you're looking for simply jaw-dropping amount of lube, Passion Natural Water-Based Lubricant is ready to get the fun started with this 55-gallon drum. With its superb formula, you will have a natural feel that keeps you moist longer and also works great with all toy materials. Easily washes away with warm water and mild soap. You may never run out of lube again. Size 55 gallons. Note, includes pump, unquote.
Oh my God, I love
That would actually be good because
that's exactly what it is.
if I'm gonna have a 55-gallon drum of lube, I definitely need the pump because I don't have one.
It's okay because at the end of the story, again, on Cards Against Humanity's own website, it says, quote, maybe next someone will start sending them some of these dick face masks, unquote.
Ideas.
Yeah. We've also talked sometimes about how people will abuse Yelp and create stupid problems. You know, that restaurant that complained against somebody who had a legitimate problem with the fact that they went to a restaurant with a reservation and it was closed.
Yeah.
This is the other side of the coin. There was a young lady named Megan from Calgary, Canada, who went to a dive bar in Lower Manhattan. The dive bar is called the Iron Horse. It's a motorcycle bar. And it actually says on their description, dive bar. So you pretty much know what you're getting, right?
Yeah.
You know, it's a place that has mildly warm beer, you know, a possible fist fight, not the best amenities. You know what a dive bar is. So Megan went to this place, and on January 12th of this year, she left a review of 1 star. With this review on Yelp, quote, wouldn't recommend this to eat or for a quiet drink. I met some friends here at 3 p.m. in the afternoon, and the music was so loud we couldn't hear each other. The service was also terrible just to get a drink at the bar. The food was also terrible, unquote.
Dive bar?
Yeah, not a very good vocabulary for somebody. I don't know what age this is.
Well,
so
if she at least spelled everything right, she's doing better than most.
The business owner of Iron Horse, Zigbing, his name is Zbigniew, got the review, and he posted a response on Yelp on January 13th, the following day.
Uh-huh.
Would you like to know what he said?
Oh, yeah.
Sure.
Quote, Megan, thank you for visiting our establishment and for your review. As you took to Yelp to voice your opinion, I would like to voice ours. I read other reviews you posted on Yelp for places you have also visited. It seems you like quiet coffee shops and fancy food, none of which we have ever advertised to provide. Please note our Yelp description even says ambience, divey, noise level, loud. So if you're going to complain, I was hoping it would be about something we could actually advertise that we provide. We are primarily a loud, party-type bar atmosphere serving a mean burger, hot wings, and similar pub fare at ridiculously low prices for Lower Manhattan. Where else in the area can you get a beer for $2? Where can you get a nearly half-pound freshly made burger, including draft beer, for only $10? We have 4 stars on Yelp, but it's not because our food will knock your socks off. The 4 stars are there because most of our customers come in looking for a fun time and to get away from the mundane of the everyday while enjoying a simple, decent meal at a low price. I recommend you align your expectations with the type of establishment you are visiting, and do more research before you decide on a place that will work for your personal preferences. I give you 1 star as you are terrible at finding bars and restaurants that suit your tastes. I'll give you more stars if you come back and have a drink with me, unquote.
Oh, I like him. Sassy.
And drop the microphone.
Yeah.
That was good. Oh my God. Who knows?
would you wear high heels in snow at any point?
Fuck that.
No.
No, I wouldn't wear high heels on a sunny day in, summer. Just
Okay.
wonderful.
Well,
I can't. No, heels suck.
you would think a country like Japan that has a very varying climate, people would know what to do when it starts snowing. But in a recent snowdrift, there was a news story that happened to catch a candid of a woman who wore stilettos in snow. Take a look at this GIF, because all I can say is faceplant.
Oh.
Wait, I gotta get to it. It's being hella slow. Oh,
It's a snowy night with snow still coming down. A lady leans into a wall to take a look at something, and her stilettos just come right out from under her feet and fly behind her.
Why would you be... Okay, something I've noticed about Korea, too, this is a little bit off topic, but also related to the gift. In Korea, showing your shoulders or your cleavage is considered kind of obscene, but showing any amount of leg all the way up to the butt cheek in winter or summer, totally fine. Perfectly acceptable. And
well, this was
that is just taking it too far. Wearing stilettos in snow. Jeez.
Yeah. The reporter, since they were there, asked the lady if she's okay, to which she responded in Japanese, quote, "I'm okay. I'm totally fine. It's fun. Tee," unquote.
Oh, I'm
right.
sure.
She's trying to save face.
Yeah.
But
after that epic face plant.
Falling in the snow.
Yeah, she just got stupid famous for several stupid reasons.
On a related note, being that it's from Japan, there was apparently a train stop that was being held open for one passenger.
Yeah, they've been talking about that a lot lately. They've actually left one train station open, or at least not open, on the map for one passenger that rides it habitually, a young student.
Yep, they decided they were going to close it, but then they realized, oh no, someone's still riding it, and she's only got one more year till she graduates, so they went ahead and left it open.
Oh, that's so sweet. Wow.
Nice of them, but also, a little bizarre.
Yeah, she's literally the only person that rides that train.
Yeah, well, imagine. That's kind of amazing that they would do that. But can I just add about this gift? That slight panty shot just kind of makes it a little more Japanese.
I've been watching it over and over again, and you really can't see the panties, so...
It's interesting. Why are you looking? You just admitted. Okay, I'm not.
Well, I always start looking for
I'm a guy. So. What am I going to be looking at? She's wearing a short skirt in snow.
I'm a girl. I'm looking. So it's very short. Check that
well,
out.
the last story we have in WTF. What do you guys think of TSA agents?
No.
TSA.
I try not to.
I mean...
I'm going to give them significantly less crap. There is a story that came out on Gizmodo of what the TSA confiscated in 2015. Mm-hmm. And holy crap, this is bizarre. This is what they have to deal with? Newark Airport, New York, they found a hand sickle.
A what?
A what?
A hand sickle, like a sickle on a small handle, like you would use in farming, or you would find on like the flag of Soviet Russia.
So a comma.
No, a sickle. Not a comma, an actual hand sickle.
Yeah, like a blade on a stick.
The round one.
No.
The rounded blade. Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
One in Salt Lake City, Utah, somebody tried to get on with 9 tubes of gunpowder.
Excuse me? Wow, okay.
Not pipe bombs, because there were no detonators, but 10 tubes. 4 plastic tubes and 6 test tubes of gunpowder. Phoenix, Arizona.
He was going to do something with that.
Well, like I said, there was no detonators, but apparently he was going somewhere. Although Arizona didn't have it as kind, they found a live flashbang grenade in someone's bags.
Whoa.
Oh, no, that's not Whoa. Whoa was in Savannah Airport in Georgia. Somebody tried to get on a plane with ninja climbing claws.
Echo claws?
Huh. Yeah. Tiger claws can cause a lot of damage.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Oh, my goodness.
Oh, I mean, like I said, I'm going to give him less crap. There was one guy in Wichita, Kansas, who tried to hide one switchblade and one mini butterfly knife in his shoe. They actually cut out a hole in the interior sole of his shoe and then put the sole back on top of it to try and hide it.
Huh.
Why would that work if you're going through a metal? If you're going through a metal detector, they're gonna.
Or
Your
they
shoes don't go
suspect
through a
there to
metal detector. They tell you to take off your shoes because some shoes have metal insoles.
Right. That's true.
Or
Okay.
metal guards in regards to steel-toe boots. So
Yeah, true. Okay.
Across America, there has been a near uncountable amount of cane swords.
Wow. Did not
All the way from purposeful long blades to somebody who tried to remove the handle on one and affix a nail to it to create a piercing weapon.
Oh.
There have been drugs that have been attempted to be smuggled in jars of peanut butter, cans of tomato puree. One person even hollowed out an Arizona iced tea can. Somebody put in batteries, and they even put them in candy wrappers. Mary Jane candy wrappers, no less. Okay, get this. One guy in Southwest Florida International Airport would not travel without his industrial deli slicer.
You can put that in your check bag, buddy, but you cannot bring that on the plane.
He actually tried.
That's the thing I don't understand about some people. Okay, with the drugs, I understand because canines and all that, but there are some things that you can put in your check bag that you would not be able to bring on your carry-on, and you'll be fine. You'll get there, you'll still have your items.
Like I said, I'm going to stop talking about the TSA so negatively because obviously they're dealing with some weird stuff. Austin, Texas, they've confiscated both a compound bow and a tonto.
A tonto? What's a tonto? I don't know.
A tonto is the smallest in a sword of samurai swords. The smallest blade in a set of samurai swords is a tonto.
Okay, good to know. Okay.
Bear mace cans by the dozens. One person in San Juan Airport tried to bring a serrated batleth.
Okay, someone's going to a convention.
No, this is an actual sharpened, serrated carbon steel batleth, man.
He was probably still going to a convention.
Yeah.
Well, several people were apparently coming back from conventions because they lost count of the number of batarangs they've confiscated at airports.
Oh my god.
Well, you can buy from knife dealers at conventions like sharpened batarangs.
Yeah, that sounds about right. Why? Okay, that's one thing I would always want to buy locally because I have thought about like knives and stuff at conventions. Like you've seen how cool they are, but I would not buy them at a convention I was flying to.
Yeah, they've also lost count of the amount of shuriken they've confiscated over the last year.
Yeah. The Naruto cosplayers are back.
No, when I say shuriken, they showed a picture. These shuriken are as different as snowflakes.
Oh.
These are actual live shuriken. They've also confiscated an uncountable amount of things that are made to look like bombs but aren't bombs, including replica sticks of dynamite, 120 millimeter tank round, practice landmines, and other inert military replicas.
Okay.
Yep.
But at the same time, if they're fake, then I don't know why they have to confiscate those.
Because it's almost like they're not.
Yeah,
banking,
you're not allowed to have bomb-like objects on a plane. It's part of their safety protocol.
You can still threaten with it even though it's not real.
Oh, gotcha. All right.
Which created another problem because somebody tried to get on a plane with novelty bath salts made to look like TNT explosives. It resulted in a 20-minute evacuation of Denver International Airport while they investigated.
Jeez,
someone's getting charged.
That's a bit unnecessary. But...
Yeah. Untold dozens of inert grenades were taken from passengers in 2015. One person actually tried to conceal 2 handguns, an unassembled rifle, and a freezer bag full of live ammo inside of 3 checked bags in Orlando, Florida.
Jeremy, I want you to know
someone was really thinking about it.
Jeremy, I'm hopping on a plane in less than a week. I'm going to go to ALA. This is going to be so fun.
Oh, yeah? In 2015, not hundreds, thousands of handguns were confiscated from carry-ons and check bags in the last year.
Jeremy, I'm
not surprised by that, to be honest.
Oh my god.
I'm still astonished by that. You think people would be smart enough not to bring this. And last up in this list of unusual things TSA agents confiscated, again, I'm giving them so much less crap in my lifetime now because somebody at New York's LaGuardia Airport tried to get on with a checked bag that had a live chihuahua in it.
What?
The dog was found. The dog and their owner were sent home.
Yeah. Oh my god, that poor dog.
Oh, yeah? They actually took a picture of the dog, and this thing is small. When I say small, I mean it could sit in the woman's hand. Look at this picture of this poor little dog that was in a suitcase.
Oh,
in a suitcase, in a
That's
checked
animal
bag,
cruelty.
which means it's not going in the pressurized cabin, which means it would have been dead on arrival.
Yeah, she would have had a doggy sickle.
That is awful. That is terrible. That is, oh my god. Poor baby.
Didn't that bag go through X-ray too?
It probably would have gone through a precursory X-ray just to find metallic objects. It wouldn't have been an image X-ray, I think.
Oh.
Because
it'll still register the bones.
It's not a carry-on. It's a checked bag, and I bet you the only reason probably because it was the only bag that was leaking urine at the time, I would imagine.
Oh god. Oh, that is so fucked up. People are stupid. TSA agents, less stupid. I now respect them a lot more than I did half an hour ago. They've broken a lot of my shit, but hey, they've also saved our lives. So
yeah, there's a reason why we call the last segment WTF, because there's a lot of things that we really have to question.
Yeah.
Now, I wanted to have a conversation this week about fandom, especially since we're all going to be at several conventions in the upcoming year.
Yep.
Because I'm starting to have an issue with fandom. And when I say fandom, I have no problem with you guys trying to collect things. I have no problem with anybody that tries to dress up. What I have a problem with is when people allow their feelings about fandom to override other people's feelings about fandom.
Or anything.
I would say override common sense and common decency.
I would say so, except honestly, half the things I'm into don't involve common sense at all. You know,
No,
if I apply common sense to half the cartoons I watch, then I'm not watching them.
No, like what he said is.
But in an actual live situation where you're dealing with another fellow human being, common sense does come back into play.
Not necessarily, because if you think about it, a lot of people discussing fandom at the same time, even when they're aligned, common sense flies out the window.
But decency, like he said, is very important. A lot of these people just completely abandon it.
Yeah, I didn't say common sense should be abandoned, but when you get a bunch of people talking on the same wavelength, their perception of reality turns a bit to where they think that this is the acceptable level. They forget that once they leave that building, the standard reality is still in place.
Yeah, and I have a lot of feelings on fandom, so I'm actually really looking forward to this discussion.
It's one of those things where a few basic tenets, in my opinion, and this is my opinion, I'm not saying this on behalf of Mission Start. I'm not even saying this on behalf of the show. I'm saying this because this is my own mindset. Fandom, I wouldn't say it needs to calm down, but it needs to do better self-policing. We need to stop accepting simply everybody because they have a positive opinion of a particular item or show. You know, sooner or later, we actually have to tell people to stop being asshats.
Mm-hmm.
And we don't do a good job of that, either because we want to be non-confrontational, we want to be over-considerate of other people's feelings, including the negative ones, which is somewhat necessary, but still, we allow people to get away with way too much for the sake of a few days at a con. Yeah. And that has to do with my opinions on drug use, that has to do with my opinions on drinking, that has to do with my opinions on impropriety. In other words, you know, really abusing venues. And that also has to do with my feelings of people abusing other people.
Yeah, whether it be online or in person. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Now, let's start with one of the most obvious tenets of modern fandom, and that is the cosplay is not consent movement.
Right.
Which is absolutely true. Just because somebody is dressed up in a sexualized outfit doesn't mean that wanton advances are required at all. They are dressed up as a character. They're not dressed up as themselves for that period, regardless of however they're acting, however they're standing, whatever they're dressed like. However, when people... I think that the movement has been taken to a little bit of a disturbing degree, because a lot of people are really saying that individuals need to realize that when I'm in this costume, it's not okay to do what you do. It's not okay to grope me. It's not okay to take sniper shots of my butt. It's not okay to take unwanted photos. All that is true. However, that does not apply to simply cosplay. What I'm trying to say is that there needs to be a conscious shift, is that it's not okay to do a lot of these things under 95% of circumstances.
Right.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, I think people have really mislaid it and derailed the idea of cosplay is not consent to somehow mean cosplay only. No, things like this should not be done in the large majority of cases in your lifetime.
Yeah, and people do it in everyday life. It's not just cosplay. It's everywhere, especially in countries where young girls are sexualized. I mean, let's use Japan as an example. Their age of consent is 14 or 15? 14, right?
14.
I think it's 14. Those girls are very young, but these guys aren't thinking about that. And there are a lot of cases of girls walking through the mall with their friends or something, and they catch guys of all ages snapping pictures of their butts. They're not, they're in their school uniforms heading home or something. They're not asking for, so anytime. It's not okay. You're absolutely right.
But fandom has unfortunately skewed the cosplay is not consent conversation to only the levels of cosplay instead of actually addressing the overall issue of that there needs to be a convention culture change in general so that people are aware that it's not okay to do these things regardless of the circumstance. They always frame it under the conversation of, if I'm in this outfit, it's not okay to do this, which leaves open the possibility of, okay, if you're not in that outfit, maybe it is okay for me to do that, which we should know inherently it's not, but people still are not applying that level of thought.
No, that's childish level of thinking right there.
Yeah, I can't imagine anyone I know thinking, oh, well, she's in a bra, so I should respect her, but oh, look, she's walking down the hall in a t-shirt, maybe I can harass her now. Like, I can't see anyone I know thinking like that, but the thing is, I know people at conventions do think.
Yeah, and that's part of the thing I wanted to bring up. If there was like one of the major commandments I'd like to bring up, it's a matter of, yes, it's a problem, but it's not just your problem. You know, a lot of female cosplayers frame cosplay as not consent to the point where it just matters in the narrow view of female cosplayers. This matters for male cosplayers. This matters for young cosplayers. This matters for old cosplayers. This matters for non-cosplayers.
Yeah. As people, we have the right to our own bodies, and we can say no to these things.
I almost wish I could wipe the phrase cosplay is not consent from everyone's mind and just retitle all the panels, sexual harassment is bad.
Yeah.
Hello. Ultimately, that's what it really is.
It is, truly.
It's what it really is, but no one talks about it as sexual harassment. They only talk about it as a cosplay issue, and that drives me up a wall.
Yeah, well, I mean, I think they found their cool, catchy catchphrase, and, you know, cosplay is not consent. It's like, oh, it's perfect. You know, it gets our message out there. But really and truthfully,
sexual harassment is bad. Is kind of like this. You know, sexual harassment itself. That term is just kind of a big, bold letters that no one wants to talk about.
It's a bit taboo. Yeah.
But that's almost why I'd rather use it, because cosplay is not consent, is like Steven said. It's kitschy. It's media friendly. Sexual harassment is bad. Makes it sound like, shit, I could be arrested.
Which,
and I'm
hello, guys.
You can.
That's my point. Just need to get it through their thick skulls that it is not as simple. It's a much more simplified issue than you think it is.
But for real, let's talk about that, because it's not just that they could be arrested. It's also that they're doing something really shady as a human being, and they should know better. And I think saying, hey, guess what you're doing is sexual harassment, might bring that to their attention, because those words carry a weight. And they might just realize, if we're lucky, hey, you know what? I'm that guy. I'm that guy.
Yeah, and
or that girl, you know.
Yeah, Jesse, what were you going to say?
I was going to say that we kind of want to change it, because even the people who are brought in to, you know, do their job, like, you know, security or even police are brought in to deal with it, they may say they may not take it as seriously if it's, you know, as a cosplay versus actual. Calling it sexual harassment.
Yeah, and I'm going to add a caveat here, because security cannot be anywhere in any building. No matter how many you hire, they can't be all-encompassing. They are not omnipotent individuals. Galactus is not watching the LA Convention Center, okay?
Or the Watcher.
Yeah. So it's also reliant on us as fans to actually step up to the plate a bit. No, I don't mean as soon as somebody tags Sailor Moon on the butt, you go and beat the crap out of them. But
yeah, because that's assault.
Yeah, but it is your responsibility to do your best to either take pictures or remember details of individuals and report them. Because believe it or not, you can actually get people banned for stuff as stupid as this. And while it might make you a couple personal enemies, if anyone knows that you did it, at the same time, it's going to make convention life a lot easier for yourself and the rest of us when people like that are freaking removed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that is the reason why it is in place. There are undesirables that, cannot control themselves in this situation and need to be removed.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And I do think some people would raise the argument that things like Japanese cartoons and comic books have come into pop culture, therefore it's gotten a lot of casual people, and it's not the actual fans doing this.
That, I think, is untrue.
I would say it's also untrue because you and I especially have been doing this for almost 3 decades now. And frankly, this stuff has been going on since I can remember. I mean, maybe I don't remember it like in the very first years of like 92, 93. But then again, I was about 13, 14 years old and my hormones were going so crazy I couldn't even tell you what I was wearing.
Yeah. It wasn't cosplay, though.
No. But, I mean, complaints like this are relatively constant in my lifetime of going to conventions. And I don't think it's anything that can be eradicated because, goodness knows, there's always going to be somebody stupid enough to try. But I do think that the culture could be relatively improved if we would just take a little more community responsibility and do something non-violent about it.
Yeah.
Right. Well,
I can't tell you. What? Go on.
Well, I'm just going to say, again, it's real life, not necessarily intruding, but, real life is a part of convention culture. And, it's the same thing for, like, seeing an accident on the street corner. You have the same kind of responsibilities. You see somebody, snatch a purse. You have the same kind of responsibilities as, seeing somebody do something at a convention. It's not because, a lot of people like to think, hey, you know what? I'm at the convention. I'm, getting rid of my responsibilities. I'm here to have a fun time, this and that and everything else. But as a society, we still have responsibilities. And, if you see things happen, it may make you uncomfortable. You may not want to be that person, that has to sit there and ruin the fun or whatever. But, it's just, it's still a responsibility.
It's not ruining the fun. It's safeguarding it.
Exactly.
No,
but a lot of people, I think, kind of get to that point where it's just like, oh, well, I don't know these people. Maybe it's okay, this and that and everything else.
Or someone else can do it or whatever.
Exactly.
Yeah, there's something called the bystander, bystander mentality, where you just think, oh, someone else will deal with it, And in a convention hall where there are lots of people, some more, I can imagine some girls standing by and they're watching these girls get harassed and they're just like, oh, I don't want to be the one to go over there. Someone else will take care of it. And that's a really dangerous mentality because guess what? Everyone else around you is thinking that too. They're waiting for someone else to go out. You have to be the one to actually step up and, say something. It's hard, but it's worth it. And you could be really helping someone else. You don't know.
Yeah, well, I want to move into something that may piss a few people off. Okay. And I need to add a disclaimer because I've noticed that a number of people actually watch this show or listen to the show, I should say. Watch it. Jeez, that's stupid. They listen to the show in the UK and Europe. And whoever you people are, love you all. And I'm under the firm realization that I'm an American, which means I know, frankly, little about the rest of the world.
Yeah, when it comes down to it.
Yeah. So I'm speaking about American convention culture usually when I say anything. So don't take this as me knocking anybody or just kind of flashing how little I know about anything. When it comes to fandom, I'm going to say this plainly. No one has any right to tell you what is good.
Yes.
I've seen this increasingly on ridiculous stuff like Reddit and frickin' Tumblr, where a lot of people are either saying that a particular thing is so awful it shouldn't be watched and you're an idiot for liking it, or they claim something on behalf of some weird segment of the population that they don't actually speak for. And I've seen this in increasing degrees. I've seen it from weird fandom groups from My Little Pony. I've seen it on Steven Universe. I've seen it in not so much comic book circles, but definitely anime fans in general have a habit of claiming certain shows while deriding others. And no one has any right to tell you what is good. You have no right to tell anyone else what is good. You have a right to offer your opinions, but your opinions are not gospel.
Yes.
You know, I'm really getting frustrated, and that's one of the reasons why I back completely out of the Anime Expo Facebook fan page, because they would actually keep insulting each other, calling each other weeaboos for liking one thing or another, or expressing their fandom in one way or another. One person actually said that the weeaboo fan kit involves Sword Art Online. And there was a bunch of people who agreed with it and called Sword Art Online like the worst crap they'd ever seen in their lives, and nobody with half a brain should enjoy it. No, full disclosure, I enjoy Sword Art Online. I'm a fan of the show.
Me too.
Yeah.
I am a huge fan of the light novels, and the anime was good, in my opinion.
Now,
I like the.
Now, other people's insults of the show don't change my fandom. Other people telling me that I'm an idiot for liking it don't change my fandom. What that tells me is that there's a certain populace out there that is so immature, I don't need to speak to them. I'm not negating their opinion that they don't like the show. That's fine. Whatever you like is whatever you like. Whatever I like is what I like. However, no one has the right to tell me what is good and what isn't.
Or
Nobody
anyone
has
else.
the right to. No one has the right to tell me what is art and what isn't. Because one thing I learned dealing with popular kids most of my life is that a lot of that stuff is so subjective. No one's going to completely agree on this ever.
Right.
Ever.
You know, and if I go to you and request your opinion and you tell me something that I don't like to hear, it is not my right to then respond negatively to that person.
Yeah, and my best example of that is Jesse, frankly.
Really?
Yeah, because you like Dragon Ball. We've had conversations.
It's okay.
We've had conversations in real life and on this show. I do not like Dragon Ball. I have several reasons why I don't like Dragon Ball, but I have never called Jesse any rude names for liking Dragon Ball.
Mm-hmm.
That's his thing. That's fine with that. Sometimes I poke at him for being a My Little Pony fan. Not because I'm making fun of him, but just because, I don't have that connection. I'm not a My Little Pony fan. So sometimes I make fun out of my lack of knowledge on the subject. Sometimes I do it just because I think there's things he'd find interesting. Sometimes I do it just to make him laugh.
Sometimes I do it to be a dick. But we have a friendship like
friends
that.
Friends can do that to each other.
Yeah, exactly.
That's really cute.
But I don't do it to random strangers.
Yeah.
Right. And I'm not going to
on the internet, whatever.
And I'm not going to sit there and insult what he likes, because he's not causing me any acrimony. He's not causing me pain by being a My Little Pony fan. He's not causing me pain because he and others will buy the merchandise that keeps it on the air. You know what? That's my right to change the channel.
Exactly.
And can I add something, please, as someone who was on Tumblr for a very long time and recently said, fuck that site. Can I add something? Because the fandom culture is a little bit twisted sometimes, but on Tumblr, it's one of the main reasons I deleted my art blog. It's one of the main reasons I stopped posting my art, and that's not something small. When you're putting something you put your heart into out into the world, and you decide suddenly it's not worth it anymore, something must have pushed you to that point, and that something must be substantial. I could not stand seeing people like me and you be degraded over and over for their interests and for their likes and their beliefs. And I saw it every day. And I just started going on less and less because it was all I'd see. And it was terrible because I just couldn't stop thinking that could be someone I knew in school. That's the person who needed, I don't know, maybe some help today and had a bad day, and they stated an opinion and they got dragged through the dirt for it. It's
You know what though?
Really
I'm going to give you the same advice I give everybody, and it's turning into a philosophy of mine when it comes to the internet and non-constructive criticism. And there is a difference between constructive and non-constructive criticism. Non-constructive is people just insulting you for the sake of insulting. Constructive is when people tell you honestly they don't like something, but they offer actual advice as to how to improve it. Doesn't mean you have to take it, but
reason for it.
Yeah, but that's the thing about the internet, because a lot of people take the negativity on it and they start fuming over it. They start getting embroiled in it. And one thing I've learned is that internet opinions are as transitory as farts in a windy tunnel. Because as soon as you move past it, it's completely gone.
And let's also mention unrequested criticism, whether it's constructive or not. I mean, constructive criticism, the response tends to be a bit more positive if the person receiving that criticism is of a clear mind. But I've seen some people just get so up on their high horse, and they think that they have the right to just come around and criticize someone out of the blue. They don't even know that person, and it's completely just, it's like a smack in the face.
Some people can only feel big in their lives by making other people feel small.
True, very true.
And I don't associate with those individuals anymore. It's not because it's not because I'm hitting midlife and time's running out. It's simply because those people serve little purpose.
Yep.
The people who need to make themselves feel big by making you feel little, they're either sociopathic CEOs, or those are the people who ask me if I want fries with that. So I don't deal with it. I'm not going to insult them, but I don't need to take it, so I'm not going to.
Yeah, you absolutely don't have to deal with that. That's the beauty of being a human being with autonomy. You can choose the people you surround yourself with, and I personally choose not to surround myself with that kind of negativity, because it changes you as a person over time. It really does.
Now, let's move on to something else in regards to fandom, because this is one of those things that's a simple fix if people would just slow the frick down and think for more than 10 seconds. Mm-hmm. Please, for the love of Pete, for the love of Odin, for the great Rao in the sky, stop taking pictures in the middle of dealers' hall aisles.
Oh my God, amen. No. Oh my God, I hate that.
I'm sorry.
I understand that sometimes you just run across people you run across items you think you'll never see again. You run across people who are an incredible cosplay, and it's very unlikely you'll see them again. That's fine. Ask to take their picture. However, take it off to an end cap, move it off to the side, stop standing in the middle of the aisle, because I tell you what, I have big hands, which means I buy big objects. And sometimes I knock people in the back of the shins by accident. Sometimes I do it on purpose because you're in the damn way.
Yeah, that's a walkway. So please keep that in mind. Walkway.
Yeah, it's actually even part of the fire code. You're not supposed to block things like that. What you're doing is actually illegal.
And dangerous.
Yes, that's why it's illegal.
That being said, most convention centers actually usually have very nice locations you can take pictures from, but if you're going to do that, I also think it's important to note that if you're going to be in a very strange or sensitive place, either take your photos quickly or stop complaining when security tells you got to move on.
Yeah. Well, and I can see it from the other person's point of view, where it's just like, what, it's just a quick picture, I'm not, trying to get in anybody's way, but, stopping and asking a person to move all the way across the hall to the designated photo op area or so on and so forth, that's an inconvenience to them, that's an inconvenience to me and everything else. And I get that. But
it is,
the rules are there for a reason.
Mm-hmm.
And you're stopping and taking that quick photo will usually take, at least 1 to 3 to 5 to who knows how many other people will stop and immediately go, oh, picture time.
Oh, true.
And then you got your problem.
And you're not just inconveniencing me as a shopper. You're inconveniencing the people who are gathering behind me, and then you're also inconveniencing the dealers around me who can't get new customers during this period.
Yes, absolutely. And it's not even just in the dealer's hall. Sometimes there are narrow walkways, and people stop and take pictures, and a crowd forms, and you really can't get through it, and it gets all backed up. And if you have a panel to get to, or if you're really tired, you're going to be cranky. And I've seen some people shove other people because they just get fed up with that stop,
Yeah. Yeah, but I don't shove other people. However, if you find me in that situation, you will hear random barking very loudly behind you.
I get frustrated, and I usually just try to slip through without pushing. But sometimes people push me. I've been shoved trying to get through. And they apologize, but it's jarring.
No, I'm 38 years old and a 250-pounder, so when I get frustrated is when you hear, "Excuse me."
Yeah, I try that. I'm not very intimidating, unfortunately.
Oh, it still works.
They really don't take me seriously.
My wife likes it because she doesn't have the kind of voice I do, but, As I tell her, crazy works.
Look at
now.
Deadpool.
Also, when it comes to cosplay, sincerely, I know that some people build gigantic rigs and they want to show it off to as many people as possible. But for Pete's sake, please, open areas.
Yeah.
Yes.
Find open
I
areas
admit,
to show off.
I have seen some amazing cosplays, and and they're elaborate, they're huge.
There are fans out there who are engineering geniuses who applied their trade on cosplay. It's incredible.
Yeah.
But don't try to walk through the dealer's hall or some really cramped. I mean, it's impressive, and I realize that you're going to find a lot of people out there, but yeah, I mean, I cannot state how dangerous it is for some of these costumes to go walking through there, and it's like people don't even realize. I mean, some of the people I've seen walk through there on stilts. What if somebody bumps you? It's not exactly, the most open thing. All of a sudden you're falling over, you're falling on maybe other people or, some dealer's table or so on and so forth. Try to, again, common sense. Try to think, about the people around you, not just, how cool your costume is.
Yeah.
I've been smacked in the head with stuff, like staffs and wings, because I'm short. I get smacked in the head with props all the time, and I see people get hit with, I watch it happen, and I'm like, ooh, I know how that feels. It's really not the place. Be great.
I would also say, though, as a photographer and a cosplayer, I've done both. Sincerely, if you're in costume and in public, expect a lack of privacy. People are either going to want your attention they're going to want your attention at convenient and inconvenient moments. And, devil's advocate, everybody who cosplays usually spends a lot of time building themselves into a very big spectacle of one sort or another, whether it be garish costumes, sexualized costumes, engineering mastery, things like that. That's usually why I try and plan my costumes to the point where I can at least disassemble part of them to blend in with normal people for a little while.
Mm-hmm.
When I'm doing things innocuous like eating or possibly shopping for a little bit. That way, if I put a couple things in my pocket, I might look a little odd, but I'm not a big attention getter. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I know that some people are frustrated with things like candids and just inopportune moments. Unfortunately, it's one of those cases where, again, you've kind of made a spectacle of yourself in public, and unless you can find a way to disguise yourself in cosplay for a little bit, private time is going to be rather
difficult.
Small. Yes, difficult to find in a convention atmosphere. I know that some people end up in situations where their hotels are far away and they have no shuttle service, or they just don't want to change clothes during that period. But realistically, and I know it sounds cruel that I'm saying you're in costume, therefore, expect to get attention.
Deal with it.
It is the truth of the situation. If you can't be in character the entire time, you might want to think about it, even if you can't deconstruct your costume, at least finding the smallest, quietest corners you can to do stuff instead of just complaining that you had a candid while you were sitting in one of the main thoroughfares of the convention center.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, the whole point of donning the costume and, other than, showing your fandom is, the attention that it brings.
Yeah,
if you're
generating
not
clicks.
If you're not comfortable, if you're not confident, if you feel that is, something that you can't handle, that's the whole point is to get people, to get people's attention.
It is actually, I agree with you on most of that. I really do. But I think there are some other people who find their confidence through cosplay. And I'm saying
True.
this as someone who has friends who have found their confidence through cosplay. And it might be the person's first time cosplaying. It could be a costume they maybe don't feel so good about anymore, which, if that's the case, they can't really get upset with people for enjoying it. It's an art, and it's something they put time into, and there are going to be people who are impressed with it and want to take your picture.
Right.
But,
I mean,
there are
it's
some people who have a different, they're doing it for themselves, and they do need to expect to have pictures taken, but I don't like, okay, Jeremy mentioned something where he got yelled at one point for taking a candid, and that I do not agree with at all.
I have been. It was a guy dressed up as Link who was sitting along a wall charging his cell phone because he didn't think that far ahead. And I just took a candid because it appeared to be, to me at least, to be a very meta picture, Link staring into a cell phone.
Mm-hmm.
So he chased me down and started yelling at me about the photo. And it was a case where if he had just talked to me and said he wasn't comfortable, I could have taken care of it right then and there. But as Steve and Jesse especially know, I do not respond well to negative reinforcement. And that just brings out all the stubbornness in me. And let alone, this is somebody dressed up as Link, which can tell you what kind of weight class he was in. It wasn't mine.
Yeah. I would also like, kind of getting back more on the topic, as Elise pointed out, it is an art form. And, you paint a picture, you make a model, you sculpt something, whatever. Yeah, it's going to bring attention. However you meant it to be interpreted goes right out the window. Because every single person that looks at a painting is going to have a different impression of it. Now, the painting has the, benefit of not having feelings and everything, but, anything that somebody says about that painting, if it gets back to the artist, is going to have certain connotations, and they're going to have reactions to it too. But, being that your art form is on your person, it tends to be a little more personal, but at the same time, you kind of have to expect people to have different reactions.
Yeah.
What I'm generally trying to come across in the short term here is that essentially, when it comes to cosplay, if you're going to spend a large amount of your time being Batman, find a way to also be Bruce Wayne. Find a way to be innocuous for a little bit if you need a break.
Right.
Yes, absolutely. That's a very good point.
Now, I do want to go back to we've been talking a little bit about the levels of cosplay. I want to go back to fandom for just a moment because something else about Reddit and Tumblr really irks me when it comes to fandom. And I don't think this can be stated enough. You do not have the right to claim that only a certain segment of any nationality, gender, sexual orientation can watch anything.
Oh, yeah.
I saw a Reddit post from a Steven Universe fan board where somebody claimed that only women and transgenders are allowed to watch Steven Universe and My Little Pony. They were claiming it for those particular individuals.
That guy can go to hell.
That wasn't a guy.
Make the show.
Oh, really? Well, she can go to hell.
It was a woman. And I find that laughable simply because unless your name happens to be the creator of something, you don't get to say that.
Well, and here's the other problem, too. Even as the creator, you don't really get to say that. You made it.
But these are the kind of...
It's just like cosplay. Honestly, you're putting your art out into the world. Different people are going to react differently to it. You're going to have a wide audience sometimes, and there's going to be a variety of people looking at your art. That's how it is.
And by the way, Steve, most creators are smart enough not to say these kind of things.
Exactly.
There's a reason why Tommy Hilfiger went from a name brand jean to an off Kmart brand, okay?
Yeah, no, I'm just saying, because you said unless you're the creator, and I'm just like, even the creator, but no.
The creator has a certain ability to say that because they are the creator of something.
Well, they can say, I intended it for these people.
Whether or not they're justified... Whether or not they're justified is a completely different matter. But, just somebody within a fan board cannot tell anybody what they're allowed to watch.
No, nobody can. That's the thing. It's not even just that. Like, whether it's Tumblr or YouTube. Like, I've seen people on YouTube saying only these people watch this. Or it's not necessarily that only these people can watch this. But they're like, it's also a matter of generalizing, too. Like, guess what? Some guys like My Little Pony. Some guys like Steven Universe. That isn't, if it's not hurting you, why do you care? Because you really don't need to be
it's screwing with their perception of what genders are supposed to be. That's what it really comes down to.
Well, no, this was somebody who said that only women and transgenders would understand Steven Universe, therefore they're the only ones that can watch it.
Okay, let me just say something. Men are people too. Men are people too. They have feelings, they have opinions. Some women seem to think that all men are just heartless monsters. Let me just say, as a woman, that is not true. Men
well, that's only not true once we actually eat
like
hearts.
Like, I have so many friends who say, I hate men. Okay, but you can't hate all men. You haven't met all men, and that isn't fair to any degree. I'm just saying, like, that drives me insane. I hate that. I hate generalizations like that. Like, whether it's about women, men, children, like, some people say, I hate children. How can you hate children? They're literally just tiny people who want to have fun all the time. Hello?
Well, it's okay, Elise. People who say they need men just need more penis in them.
Thanks for that, penis. Thank you, Jeremy.
It's okay.
I appreciate that.
And there's one more thing that I think because we've actually talked about a lot of the basics of fandom that, at least the negative aspects that really need to be corrected in general. And I'm not charging this as anybody who listens to this show instantly needs to become the internet police and stop all bad behavior.
Yeah.
What I'm talking about is those of us that work on and listen to this show, and I've seen the demographics. There do appear to be thousands of you out there for reasons that are way beyond me.
Really? Okay.
Let me put it this way, Jesse. As of episode 108 of this show, over 3 million hours have been listened to on Stitcher.
Oh.
You guys need a life.
Thanks for that.
Says the three guys and girl on a podcast.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, oddly enough, that was
to be ironic.
Yeah, that was my second attempt at a name for this. 3 guys and a girl on a podcast. But
I thought that was the bat pole. Anyway.
You hated Down the Bat Pole.
Yes, I did.
Yeah.
With passion.
Yeah, oddly enough, when I mentioned that name, you kept spitting too, so I don't know. But what I'm trying to say is the people that work on this show and people that listen to this show, we have an opportunity not to do massive shifts in fandom, but there's enough of us where we can start to modify our behavior and create a better fandom for everybody. The people in it, the people getting into it, the people outside it, so we don't appear to be douche nozzles to every single individual on the planet because a few a-holes on Reddit decided they want to speak for the rest of us.
Yeah. There's really not a lot that individuals can do to really, make a change except to change themselves. Because as soon as you try to start changing somebody else, you're becoming one of those a-holes.
Yeah. This is why I don't leave snarky comments on Facebook anymore. This is why I don't leave a whole bunch of, oh God, this is awful posts on social media, because I realize these are my opinions. Nobody has to listen to them, but I can offer something constructive if I chat about it for a bit.
Right. I mean, it makes me, every time I see somebody post and say something like that, I'm just like, do they not realize? But I think that's what it comes down to. They don't realize. Everybody is so instinctive. They just react, and reacting to a situation is horrible.
Mm-hmm.
I think it really,
you need to take a step back, because as soon as you've reacted, you've probably just stuck your foot in your mouth.
Yeah. You hear that, Trump?
Buzzing. Like, you have to,
Okay.
it's like you said, you have to give yourself time to think before you actually open your mouth. And a lot of people don't. And I'm going to sound like an old crotchety lady right now, but I think it does have a lot to do with the internet culture happening. And it's been happening for years. I've had a computer with internet access for a long time, since I was about 9, which was earlier than a lot of the people I know my age. And I think people have just kind of made a habit of spewing opinions, and it isn't healthy, in my opinion, to just try to shove your beliefs on other people, whether it's a person online. It's not respectful, and it's really not mindful of the people.
It's just, I don't think it's the internet culture per se, because I was actually in the, I started in the internet in 1992. I was there on BBS boards, for crying out loud.
Mm-hmm.
And for people that don't know, God, that's like drawing with rocks on walls comparatively. But, the culture way back when, the internet was an extremely interesting and wonderful place because everybody chatted about everything. But because as things happen, when it became more ubiquitous, more individuals came into it, and more people who didn't think before they speak came into it. And I don't think it's internet culture. I think it's just people trying to air their grievances without actually reading a damn thing before they click send.
Well, I'm not saying that it's only the internet or everyone on the internet or every platform on the internet, but I do think the internet enables you to, okay, say you watch a video and it just irritates you, or someone in a video irritates you. It is so easy to go down, type a comment when those feelings are still fresh, hit send without considering the consequences or the fact that you're saying this to another human being.
Right.
It's very easy to do that. And I can admit, when I was younger, I did that because I didn't know better. A lot of people who are doing that now are younger people, but not necessarily all of them. They really don't know better and they don't think about it. And it's really sad because they're mixed with another human.
I think we can actually summarize all this pretty quickly here. In that, very simply, fandom is 100% subjective, and what any individual thinks, guaranteed, is not the exact same thing that anybody else thinks. Whatever your fandom is, follow it. As long as it doesn't involve weird things like human sacrifices or blood orgies or things like that, it is completely cool to check it out and just, hang out with people. However, keep in mind that whatever is in your mind, complicated, simple, long and short, tall, thin, fat, wide, whatever is in your mind is not going to match anybody's perfectly. Just enjoy what you enjoy and leave everybody else's to whatever they enjoy. Talk about it, ask questions, because the more you learn, the more you find out that somebody's opinion might be better than yours.
And we're all individuals. We need to keep that in mind. We all have our own opinions, and it's okay to disagree with someone. It's all right.
Well, most of us are individuals, because I swear that my youngest child is a small clone of me running around.
It's so true. He looks so much like you.
When he was a baby, oh my gosh. The way he watches people, oh my goodness.
There's one more thing, though, that we need to talk about in the frame of this week, and that is we need to discern what roles we're going to take in the Deadpool project we've got. We actually have an opportunity to record an issue or two while we're at ALA with each other. And I have actually gone through the work of typing down the entirety of the roles available and where they appear. I sent you guys a link to an Excel spreadsheet I put together.
Ooh, girl.
Yeah, it's kind of disturbing how far I've gone here. Even I just kind of looked at it and went, I am a sad individual.
I don't know if I have Excel, dude. I'm sorry.
I've seen entire rooms turn into pink, purple, and blue. You're not sad.
You've been in Harley Quinn's room?
No, I've seen My Little Pony rooms.
Oh. Well, that's not sad. That's usually the first sign that you've been put into an insane asylum.
Watch out.
Okay, so we have some primary roles here that we've got to decide. And I would like to say, first of all, when it comes to Deadpool's primary voice, I'd like to take a shot at that.
Okay.
All yours, man.
I'd like to do that. I wouldn't say I've had practice, but I've been rereading comic books to people so often, I think I've got one, and I'd like to play.
Yeah.
Now, let's see. Would anyone like to be Deadpool's yellow boxes, his more randomized thought?
Yeah, I might be able to pull that off.
You think you can do that? Do you want to be Deadpool? Do you want to be the yellow narration or the white narration?
I don't really have a preference.
You want to do both?
I might be able to. I don't know.
Okay. What voices would you use for that? Because you have the opportunity to get stupid here if you want to. We're doing this for fun, not for art.
Right. I don't know. I generally tend to improv, so we'll see.
Okay.
I'll be honest, Steve. I've listened to you talk and you put certain accents to certain types of people. I was thinking you have a very hoity-toity voice. I think it'd be funny for Cyclops.
Do it.
Okay, I can give that one a shot.
All right. Actually, there's one thing here we need that we haven't really discussed. We need a narrator director. Who wants to do the reading of page direction and trying to turn that into auditory fun?
I'd be willing to try.
You think you can do that? Because you got to actually describe the visuals and put an auditory picture in people's heads. You want to try that?
Yeah. Will there be a script or no?
There will be the actual issue. Yeah, there will be the book itself.
Yeah, I'd love to try.
Okay.
That'll be fun. I'm a visual person, so I'd like to think I wouldn't totally suck at it.
Well, actually, there's a couple roles that you need to do in the first issue.
Okay.
In the first issue, actually, there is an appearance by Death.
Ooh.
Yeah, Death is portrayed as a female.
Yeah, yes. Death is a woman in Marvel Comics.
Oh, yeah.
So she has multiple. You might have to find an interesting voice for that. There's also kind of a San Francisco townie, a woman on a bike. So you need to do that as well.
I'm so down. Oh my god.
You'll have to figure out what kind of voice you need to assign to that. Jesse.
Yeah?
How would you feel about being a dead shark?
Please do.
Oh, I don't do much in real life, so.
That would be good practice.
Okay.
I don't know. I think the voice of a dead shark would be pretty easy.
Well, it actually talks. It's a hallucination in the first issue. And the shark that's with its entrails hanging out actually talks to him.
Oh, that's cool. That's really cool.
Oh, God, who wants to be Thanos?
Not it.
Oh, come on.
I'm a heckling kid. I have a tiny voice.
Heckling kid? Okay.
I'll be heckling kid.
All right, I assume you want to do woman on bike, because if not, Jesse's going to do that.
Wait, Jesse, give me your best woman on a bike. Jesse, really, we're going to compete.
I am not sure I could do a high voice anymore.
We want it. Come on, you're auditioning. Give it to us. I want to hear this.
This sounds more like a forced audition than
It is.
Look, either he does it now.
Very uncomfortable right now.
You want uncomfortable? Either you do it now, or I get you on the casting couch and try that mouth out myself, man.
Oh.
So like Jeremy's going to be the cop with the bullhorn. Gotcha.
Oh, got it.
Come on, Jesse. Let's hear your woman on bike. I want to see this.
Please.
Again.
You're not getting a SAG card. Just give us something.
Give me a line, damn it.
Sound like
What?
What's in the actual comic? Or does
I like how he says, "Give me a line." He makes it sound like I need cocaine before I do this. You jerk.
I'm not good at improv, man. So.
Jeremy, what's a good line? Help me out here.
Let's see. The actual line is, "You're beautiful, sweetie."
Oh God. I am beat red right now. I'll let you know right now.
Jesse, do you want me to be woman on bike? Because I can be woman on bike.
No, I gotta do this. I need to get out of my comfort zone.
It's a matter of pride now.
Yes.
Okay, give me your best woman on bike. You're beautiful, sweetie.
Oh God.
Jesse. Come on, dude. Steve, go punch him.
Huh?
Go punch him. Show him who's boss.
That ain't gonna help.
That sounds like abuse.
Right now, Jesse is standing in the middle of the stage. Spotlights on him. Crowd is the playhouse is full, and he's gonna look to stage left and go, "Line."
Line.
We've told it to you 5 times already.
Dragging off stage for the king. Come on, Jesse. We're all buddies here.
It's like like watching Twilight. Line.
So when do I fuck her to death?
Oh God.
Okay.
No, really, I can't pull off a high voice anymore.
It's okay. Elise will do it. But
okay,
you will be the man on the bike, so you'll have more words.
Oh, I thought I could be the man on the bike because I actually have my boss is a guy on a bike most of the time.
Okay, if you got something prepped for that, that's fine by me.
It'll be a matter of impression.
I'm gonna try and talk like my boss.
Okay. Well, does anybody want to be Captain America or Spider-Man?
I don't think I can pull that off. Sorry, man.
I don't know. I might be able to do Spider-Man.
Okay.
I want to
like
be
that, Jen.
sound effects. I'm kidding.
Let's see, Jesse, you got to try Cap at least.
Okay, I'll try Cap.
All right.
The Mexican Korean is gonna do Captain America.
How very 2016.
Future, we're living it.
All right. Let's see. Going further on into the next issue. Let's see. Standard there. Oh God, Wolverine.
Wow.
You know what? I've only got one real role so far. I guess I'll take Wolverine. I think I can do an. Well, the thing is though, I've been thinking about that, and doing Wolverine as Elmer Fudd, I think would be a lot of fun.
That's one way you could put it. Yeah.
That wascally Deadpool.
You know, I've been practicing this voice for a little while, just thinking this might come up. So, I'm the best there is, the best there was, and the best there ever will be.
I'm alive.
Hold it right there, bub. That sounded like fun to me anyway.
Okay.
That's awesome. You should have like a little outtake reel with you doing that. Please.
Well, that's why we're recording this as fun. If we do it as a serious thing, that means I have to cut stuff out. No, I want us to F it up. Elise, I'm going to need you to do Dagger.
Okay, who's Dagger?
She's part of a tandem of characters. She was a former junkie who was given an experimental drug and can now create light daggers.
Ooh, that sounds really cool.
Yeah.
Okay.
Does anyone want to be the hate spewing Irish Mr. Kincaid?
I don't know.
American Irish, not Lucky Charms Irish.
Yeah, I might be able to pull that off. We'll see.
All right. Let's see. Elise, I'm also going to need you to be... There's actually a few bit female roles, but there's a major one you're going to have to find a voice for, and you're going to have a fun time doing it. Domino.
Oh.
Help me, who's Domino? I'm sorry. I don't know anybody.
Domino is a gun runner and assassin. Her powers are luck alteration. In other words, the dominoes fall the way she wants them.
Her face pretty much looks like she's a Dalmatian.
She looks like a China doll, basically.
Ooh. I like
And
it.
you're going to have to find a Regal voice, too, because I'm going to need you to do Emma Frost.
All right, I will find a way.
And there's one more here that's more of a bit role, but it's going to be a bit of a reoccurring role. You're going to have to find your inner 16-year-old teenage girl.
Mercury.
Oh, wow, I'll be going back. Okay,
Yeah.
I can do it. Yeah.
Mercury, Cecily Kincaid.
Oh, this is going to be fun.
If you decide to add an Irish lilt to that, I wouldn't blame you at all.
I can try. I'll
Okay.
try. And I will, send me descriptions of the voices and I'll actually practice them before so I don't sound
Well, you got a week.
every character. No, really,
Actually-
just send me.
Okay. I said you got a little under a week because we're probably going to do this on like Thursday or Friday.
It'll probably be Friday because it sounds like the earliest we can leave Thursday would be sometime around maybe 3 or 4.
Okay.
I don't even know when my flight is, honestly, but I need to tell my teachers today or tomorrow that I'm going to be missing 3 classes.
All right. Random reporter, we can figure that out in the moment. Random cop. Anybody want to be Prodigy?
Who's Prodigy?
Prodigy was
Other
a
than the
child.
music group.
Prodigy, young X-Man, had the ability to know things of everyone around him till his powers are stripped. Then he had the blocks in his mind removed, so he remembered everything he ever gleaned from anyone he was in proximity of. He's basically used as a communication expert. Anybody?
Sounds like one we might be able to just do in the moment.
Okay. Let's see. Issue 3, we've got Mercury again. We've got Mr. Kincaid again. Got Cyclops again. Prodigy, Wolverine. God, I'm going to murder the hell out of that role.
Or Monad.
Ooh. Yeah, Norman Osborn appears in issue 3. Anybody want to try that one out?
I'll try that one.
All right, Jesse's going to be Norman Osborn.
I think he was
What
in
about,
the first... No, okay.
No, he just appeared at this point. Bullseye, Bullseye dressed up as Hawkeye, the Dark Avenger Hawkeye.
Right.
Anybody?
I don't know.
You guys are so daring.
I could probably do it, but I...
Lions in the Wild.
Yeah. Let's see. We've got random train station women. I might have Elise do one, and I'll do the other just for the sake of, just because it'll be that stupid.
Please do.
Let's see. Last issue. Actually, Steve, I want you to do... No, Jesse, I want to do Kincaid Bodyguard number 1, and I want Steve to do number 2.
Okay.
Okay.
There are a couple bumblers. Panicking Train Station Man. Hammer Command. Hammer Command. I'd have to look that up and be sure what kind of role that is, because I have the role written down as Hammer Command, but I don't remember how that came through.
Yeah.
I think it was
a Hammer
just...
Sniper, too, so... I'm
I remember who the
people working
sniper
for the
is.
Hammer Corporation that...
Yeah. Okay, Hammer Command is just like receptionist stuff. Elise, do you mind just doing that real quick?
Sure.
Okay.
Oh, wait, right now? Or... I don't mind doing it when we're there.
It's only 2 lines to pretend like you're on a cell phone or something, basically.
Yeah,
like
easy.
you're a receptionist for Norman Osborn, essentially.
Oh, yeah, easy. I'll do it.
Okay, female reporter, that's Jesse. Let's see.
You can just assume I'll do any female or child role, because I will.
Okay. All right.
So the female reporter is Trisha Takanawa?
Okay, random SFPD officer.
I'll
Reporters.
host the reporter voice. Oh, God, that's going to be fun. By the way, news reporters are key, so I can't wait to make fun of them.
Does anybody want to volunteer to be the cameraman? The reporter has a cameraman with her.
Me? Someone film me.
Yeah. Jesse, you want to be a cameraman? You want to be all roughneck?
That's
All right. Oh, actually, there is one more role here that's an actual named role. Anybody want to do Colossus?
I don't think I can pull off a Russian accent, but we'll see.
It doesn't have to be a Russian accent. That's the beauty of this.
Dude, Jesse, I think you could do that. You with the lisp you have, you halfway sound like you're Slavic sometimes.
Ooh, true.
Is my natural voice for Colossus?
I think you'd have to deepen it a little bit, but it's not like it's a lot of lines.
Okay.
I think it could sound good.
So I think that's just about everything. There will be some randomness set in here, but I think we've got it pretty well laid out.
Mm-hmm.
This is going to be very interesting.
I hope you wrote all this stuff down because I don't remember.
Yeah, he filled in
anything.
the Excel sheet, I'm pretty sure.
I'm typing as I go. Wait, we never agreed who Thanos was going to be. Thanos kind of plays a moderate role in the first issue.
It sounds like you don't have a lot of roles, Jeremy. I think that's you.
Me? Crap.
Yeah, you only have a few, come to think of it.
I know, but one of the roles I have is the protagonist of the damn book.
True enough.
Yeah?
I'm going to be busy.
I'm doing all Deadpool's inner voices, so that's going to be pretty busy, too.
Yeah. Well,
I'm sick.
All right, so that means I have to download some sound effects if I can find it. Joy. Okay. So I think that's just about everything.
All right.
What do we talk about after we come back from ALA? It's probably time we talked a comic book. Which one should we talk about?
How will we finish Secret Wars?
You think it's time? You don't want to let that bleed a little bit?
What else is there?
Actually, I do have an idea.
What?
And it's one we're going to... might not like initially, but it's one we've been talking about. The storyline of Depowered Superman is coming to an end soon.
Oh, yeah.
Obviously we're going to get to it before the end, but there's been enough issues that's too much for one show anyway. So it's probably time we checked out Depowered Superman and find out if they actually brought him to a point we like for once,
Yeah, why not?
I think that's an idea. I'll find the exact issues and I'll let you know what they are. But it's been a while since we've actually sat down and focused on Supes in any capacity. So maybe we'll actually see something we like about it.
Well, it's not like I've really hated a lot about it, but
No.
it's
But-
not a character that I really get behind.
Yeah, but the week after that, Jesse's right. We do need to finish up the Secret Wars. It's time. It's been out for a while. It's time to actually digest it and find out if it was good for what it was intended. Okay?
Okay.
All right. Well, thank you very much for tuning in. I invite you to roll with us again next week. Next week we'll have a show from Anime Los Angeles, and then the week after that we're doing Depowered Superman, which sounds like the dirtiest sex move in all of Metropolis.
Can't be worse than a chili dog.
Oh, you'll be feeling that.
With a kryptonite wiener. Have a great week. Enjoy the rest of January. If you're out there on the East Coast and you're having this snow, seriously pulling for you guys. Hope it comes through okay. Have a great one. I am Jeremy.
Steve.
Jesse.
Elise.
Don't jerk and drive. Enjoy.
Bye.